All right, we are live. Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday. Let me... Still getting like my desktop set up. Baluru, if you're there, thank you so much. I really appreciate that, man. You are the second epic supporter. Welcome to the pants party. I'm assuming you didn't hear anything because the stream was off, so I don't know. Can I play that? I have the sound file somewhere. I'll have to welcome you to the pants party. And what's up, Reese? How's it going, man? I want to get my tailoring belts real quick, and then I'm gonna get to the raid and log out. Moonshroud. That's the one. Am I not in? Oh, there we go. All right, we're off. Oh yeah, I want to get music going. Oh, that's a tree. Get out of my way. Wasting precious time with my bucks. All right, spell weave. Nope, that's wrong. Nope. But how's everyone doing today? The best day of the raid tier. Or I'm sorry, not the raid tier, but like the raiding week. At least because I get to play my main. Yeah, and thanks again, LaRue. I really appreciate it, man. Oh yeah, TOGC is super stale. We've been talking a lot about ICC in our Discord recently. I think all of us are ready for something new. I don't know, hoping they'll announce PTR in the next week or two. Maybe if it could, like, if PTR could be like the beginning of September, that would be really awesome. Oh, wrong mount again. Your loot drops have been trash. That's the one thing that I feel like we've had pretty good luck on. Outside of Death's Verdict, I think we've gotten like 3 or 4 of those. We're like on pace for most of our core raiders to have their abyss in the next few weeks. Or like very close to it. Like I'm only 3 or 4 items off at this point. But that sucks that your loot's been trash. I think we've ultimately had pretty good luck. Like everything's been pretty balanced, you know, not too much of like the trash items. Oh my god, 1 rain after 7 weeks. That sucks. We've had quite a few, maybe like 6, if I had to guess. I can actually check. How many rains do we have? Let's see. Yeah, we've gotten 6 of them. So most of our mains, I think we only have 1 or 2 mains who still need it. I went to you? Hell yeah, man. Congrats. Don't let those spell hances steal your gear, you know? Ours has been trying to do that to me, so I had to put him in his place. No, I'm just kidding. I love Ern. Hand Shaman. I just hate when he tries to steal my gear. Oh, really? You just swapped? That's hilarious. Did you enjoy Spellhance? I know our guy loves it, and he min-maxes it to the fullest. He actually, it's really funny. He has like this whole set where he like swapped into spell power gear, and I forget what it was. Jaraxxus. Forget which raid he was in. If this was him. Oh yeah, Drumby. But you can see he's at 225 item level. Because if we look at his gear, he has on just the wildest stuff. So he has the Circlet of Arcane Might. So it gives you 120 spell power. Shattered Sun Pendant of Restoration. I guess that gives you a spell power buff. Band of the Eternal Restorer. Dying Curse. And whatever timer he was using was off. So he had to do the whole fight in this gear, which is hilarious. So we were making fun of him for that. You've seen 2 Reigns and go to mages. I mean, it is really good on mages, so it's hard not to give it to them. So that's unfortunate, though. That's painful. You know, it's funny. It serves him right. That's what. Well, it's funny because we've had a lot of joking about timers for fights that like timers that are accurate, and our Weakaura pack is accurate. But I've always been telling people to swap to bigwigs instead of VBM because from the get-go, the timer start for Jaraxxus was always correct. And you know, he memed me, and then you see what happens. He got left wearing 225 item level gear on that fight because his timer wasn't right. Gotcha. Oh, you use the spell haste totem, I guess, instead of why don't you use? Are you saying you miss like old Wind Fury, like what it was, or do you just like not use? Because Wind Fury is the same thing as like what Frost DKs have, right? Icy Talons. Yeah, Abyssal Rune, it's super close to scale. It probably depends on your gear. I think in closer to like a true Bis setup, if you're coming out of phase 2 with like phase 2 Bis, then scale should sim better. But I think if you kind of have like a mismatch of gear, then Abyssal Rune sims better. That's what I've seen, because Abyssal Rune never simmed better for me because I always had pretty close to Bis gear. But I've totally seen people that say it sims better for them. That's why I never bothered getting one on either character. It does sim higher than Eye of the Broodmother. I've just been lazy on this guy, so that's on me. Oh, I see. You don't use Wind Fury weapon enhancement. Use double flame tongue. Gotcha. Yeah, Abyssal Rune's fucking sick. It's such a strong. It's crazy that it's 200. It's crazy that we have 3 item level 200 trinkets in terms of like Sundial, Embrace of the Spider, and Abyssal Rune, and they're all like pretty strikingly different. Like Sundial is the worst, and then like you get like another 30 or 40 DPS out of using Embrace, and then you get like another like 50 DPS out of using what's it called? Abyssal Rune. Yeah, it's an insanely strong trinket. Like the best thing to get for a fresh. It's like you do that and you do your heroic plus Gundrak, and you just try to get Embrace or Eye of the Broodmother out of that, and you're like already good for trinkets on day 1. You know, a lot of people like scale in TOGC because of the haste benefiting your multi-dots a lot more. Like I never swap to it on my main because I have rain and I'm lazy. But you know, I think it's still pretty good. I think if you use it right, like if you don't just use it on pull on a fight like Beast. Actually, let me take that back. I don't know when the opportune time to use it on a fight like Beast would be. But I think if you could get, obviously you'd want to make sure your timings line up so you can use it during Ice Howls 100%. But if you can make sure that you're getting use out of it to like multi-dot things while it's active, that's probably the best use of it. But it's funny, I put out like an ICC Bis list for Shadow Priest, and some people are asking me for a 10-man list. And I think for the 10-man list, they asked for 25-man gear to not be on there. So like no flare, no rain. So I think the second best trinket is actually going to be Scale of Fates for anybody who's just a 10-man raider in ICC. Because there's one good trinket out of ICC 10-man. Are there any situations where you swap rain out for scale? You know, maybe. I think if you're doing a fight like Kolgarn or Mimiron, like specifically for like the 3-target cleave, where you have 3 targets that live for a long time, or like faction champs is probably a good example of when scale's better. I'm never gonna bother swapping, honestly, because I forget when I swap things. Like, I'll swap something and then I'll just leave that trinket on for the rest of the raid just because I forget that I swapped before the raid. Like, I just have a very like one-track mind when it comes to stuff like that. So I don't do it just because it might benefit me on that fight, but it's gonna hurt me on all the other fights. Can I sim my scale versus on this character? I can do that. Go to the sim. And you see, I was messing around with like this is like some weird 10-man set. So this is my current character. Or my current alt character, and this is the one where I think Abyssal Rune would be the closest. So you can see it's slightly worse. 18 DPS worse, but I guess this is 150 seconds, so I can swap it to 120. Oh, you're mass dispel bot? No, I mass dispel for oh wait, I mass dispel for lust. Oh, interesting. Oh, well, this is obvious why. Okay, so that's just because it's a 2-minute fight and scale has a 2-minute cooldown. So I think 2 minutes is kind of 2 minutes is showing the worst possible timing for scale, and probably something that's pretty good for Abyssal Rune, because what is it, a 45-second? Yeah, so you're getting 2 uses of this on a 2-minute fight. So I think that's why it's simming so much worse than scale, is because of the fight length. So if you do have 2-minute fights, like Jaraxxus for us is about 2 minutes. So basically on a fight where you're only getting 1 use out of scale, it might make sense to use Abyssal Rune, but you should check your fight lengths on Warcraft logs and just make sure that 120 is actually what you should be simming, because that would be why your Abyssal Rune's simming so low or so high versus scale. Do we But yeah, I mass dispel like once or twice on that fight, and then our Disc Priest does the rest of it. I just VT everything. VT is usually like 80% of my damage, and I'll be around 15 to 16k DPS. So I'll show you that today if you want to see what it's like. But Disc Priest, they also have the talent that reduces their mass dispel cast time. So you put 2 points in this, and your mass dispel cast is reduced by a second. And where's mass dispel here? Shift 3. So you can see it's 1.2 second cast times, which means it's a 0.2 second cast time for the Disc Priest. So if you have a disc, they should totally be the one who's mass dispelling like crazy. Hey, what's up, Thayer? How's it going? Do we have 25 in the raid? Okay. All right, let's go. Oh my god, you just spelled 65 buffs, debuffs. How long is your fight? Because like our kills last like 250, probably like 230. Like they're anywhere from 220 to 240 for faction champs. Like our kills are very fast. Let's drop a feast. Oh my god, that's so annoying. What is that text? Yeah, I mean, Nick, that sounds like it's not really. It's your guild probably makes that fight harder than it needs to be. But you'll see when we do it. Essentially, we single target the first guy, who will be the shaman. Kill him, and then from there it's mass AoE. I mean, I start mass AoEing from the beginning, but other people single target first. Why? My Weakaura is... I don't have a flask on, but it's not showing here. Do I not have Flask in? Oh, that could be a problem. My like reminder Weakaura for buffs isn't showing Flask when I don't have it. Like you'll see showing not shadow form, it's a top one here, but it's not showing a Flask, which means I don't think my current one has Flask in it. So I need to change that. All right, let's get this. I had an insane parse last week, but I got frozen twice. So it was still my best parse at 11.3k, but it probably would have been like 11.8, 11.9 if I didn't get frozen. What's up, Glorfindie? Yeah, Thayer, if you are you Horde? Thayer, if you're a Horde, then it doesn't really work. See if I can get some value out of this. Probably not. Oh, your Alliance? I don't really know. I didn't create it. Oh, I forgot. Like, I'm not the creator of the Weakaura pack, so I don't know that I can really help you there. Insane range, perfect. Dude. These fires are trolling me, man. Damage is a little low here. Just kind of got a little unlucky. Lust. Fuck. God damn it. So annoying. Ah, that kind of hurts my damage. Yeah, shadow time. Yes. Yeah, sorry, Thayer. I'm not quite sure how to help you with that. Nope. People dead. Rip them out. Oh, there's AFK. What? Oh, there's too many people in my corner. What are we doing here? Nice. Not get frozen. That's a bad time for a flare proc. Unfortunate. Yeah, that's a super shitty timing for flare. Oh, on me. Fuck. I did bad timing there. I shouldn't have let my Shadow Word Pain fall off. Fuck. God damn it. I hate getting frozen. The RNG on this fight's so stupid. It just like... ruins the fight from the frozen and the snowballs. The LA Shaman, yeah, he's very good. Not even his main, it's an alt. But he has like one of every caster DPS. They're also insanely geared. Like he has like 5,500 gear score. Dude, what is this timing? Another crash. Oh, it's because Tethers was AFK the whole fight. Yeah, so this is automatically a shit farce. What? Why isn't... That was lame. Alright, well, that was a shit farce because our dude was AFK. Shouldn't have killed the boss? Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, bad positioning. Yeah, like the CC there is just stupid. Like that and the snowball, it's just like unnecessary RNG. They could have done other things to make you have to move or something, but to be like artificially locked out of the fight for no reason. Oh hell yeah! Thanks for becoming an epic supporter. Again, I don't know how to pronounce those symbols, but if you have a name in English that you'd like me to call you, I would love to. But thanks again for being a supporter. I appreciate it. Welcome to the pants party. Well, you're already in the pants party, but welcome to it again. Oh, our warlock got chain DC'd. So that's what it was. Yeah, check that. Let's see. What is his gear? Yeah, 5,500. Like, for being an alt, the thing is a lot of gear is pretty uncontested, like protector tier. Like, he's gotten... Like, we're trying not to give regalias to alts, but, like, you know, nobody who... Like, how many people are actually on protector tier? So he's just gotten... And, I mean, he didn't get this in one of our raids. So I think this was, like, a GDKP character that he started bringing to guild raids. And, yeah, his gear is insane. But he's also very good at the game, so. But he has his mage as the main. I think he has Shadow Priest, Ellie Shaman. He might have a Warlock that he GDKPs on. You haven't even gotten one Regalia yet? I've gotten 3. That's why I have my 4-piece. I'm just missing the shoulders. I should have logged out my buffs. I mean, that was already probably a bad parse, but just the fact that we got stunned twice and I got frozen. Yeah, wow, that wasn't even a 99. That was unfortunate. Not great. I mean, my parse last week was like a 11-3, so kind of unfortunate. Oh. But yeah, losing 1 extra DPS and then we get stunned there just like really tanks your DPS. You're expecting me to be number 1 on Jaraxxus? That's not gonna happen. The day Shadow Priest gets a strong single target, well, it's actually pretty soon, but it's not today. I will be probably 14th to 16th on Jaraxxus. If I do really well, I could be like 8th. I think 8th is probably my peak, unfortunately. Google detects that name as Chinese for Zhang Yujun. Yujun? Well, I don't want to call him something if he doesn't say. He said his English is bad before, but he knows some English. But oh yeah, Shadow Priest will be extremely competitive in phase 4. Once you get your 4-piece, you'll be one of the top single target DPS. You probably won't be top. Like, you'll probably lose to Fire Mage. Oh, fuck. I fucked up my cast there.
portal.
But yeah, an ICC Shadow's going to be insanely good. Our 4-piece just makes us one of the top single target. So like if you're already like parsing wise, if you beat everybody in your raid with your parses, but you know, Shadow's just kind of weak, so you don't beat them in the actual fight to the raid, that will change an ICC. I'm gonna cut off my Shadow Pain there, but I think it's okay because I had what's it called? Oh fuck, that's not what I wanted to do. Oh fuck, I never potioned. That sucks. Damn, that was sick. Okay, that was my best parse by like 500 DPS, and I was still, I guess, 10th. Yeah, we've been waiting in the winds for so long. That is sure. Oh yeah, Villms. This pack is sick. I even made it bigger per your request. Instead of, you had it set at 1.15, I brought it down to 1, and then I brought it back up to 1.1. So more visibility. Yeah, it does. It's awesome. I added a little glow for don't cast Mind Blast just because I didn't have that on my screen before, so it's not something I'd be looking for. So just to help me see it a little bit easier, it just glows red, which is really cool. I love it. I still cast Mind Blast, just unintentionally. I'm just so used to casting it, but I try not to. Oh yeah, it's the faction champs. I'm gonna swap on a Glyph of Shadow Word Pain for mana. Yeah, that's right. Definitely a good habit to get out of for ICC. ICC is gonna feel weird. I think it's gonna be a lot less fun not casting Mind Blast, but we'll see. Oh yeah, Fojji is a Weakaura god. That dude's so smart. All of his Weakauras are amazing. So this is Villms is a guy in the Shadow Priest Discord who custom edited Fojji's pack here to make some changes for me, which was awesome. And it's in the video description of the YouTube video at the very bottom. But like it'll glow green Devouring Plague when you can recast it on your current target, and it's stronger than the one that you casted prior by at least 100 DPS. I think that's the calculation. And then it'll glow well, I guess this is a custom thing that I changed, but my Mind Blast glows red when you want it to not cast Mind Blast and just cast Mind Flay, which happens at basically you need Lust and a few other haste buffs on top of that. They're like small buffs on top of Lust. Lust isn't strong enough on its own. What's up, John? Is there a way to take off Blizzard's cast bar? Yeah, most cast bar add-ons have an option to. I can take a look at something
5,
right after this fight.
4,
See if I can
3,
take a look at options.
2, 1.
Ah, fuck, I got interrupted. That's why I do the instant cast in the beginning to try to avoid getting interrupted, but it seems like everybody else has been learning from me.
Focus.
Dispel.
Focus.
I'm to my Shadow Fiend on their Shadow Priest. Oh, I got interrupted again. You bastards.
Focus.
And now when I start Shadow Word painting these guys, I'll get some mana back. Which hopefully I can not have to disperse for mana. It's my DPS 18k. That's not bad if I can maintain it. Where are you?
Dispel.
And a mana potion.
Dispel.
Oh, there's a mage. I need to fix my frames because the mage doesn't show up. That's a new record for me. That was 16.7k. That was pretty good. No, it's not that I don't want to the mage to show. It's that when our guy built the Weakaura, he spelled the mage's name wrong, so it doesn't show up. So I went in and fixed it, kind of. I fixed it so that I can still use it to cast on. It doesn't show the mage's health, but I fixed all the other values in it. Yeah, Valaria does fuck. He's really good. Put Mind Seer back on before I forget. Yeah, it's just that the Weakaura is kind of broken. Doesn't track the mage appropriately. So my damage could have been higher there if I was putting VT up on the mage for most of the fight. All right, let's see if I can. I've actually had some really good luck on twins on my other characters, so I'm hoping I can have a good parse today. My best parse is actually a fight that I hymned on too. So hoping get some good RNG, not have to him, get a good parse. We start. Oh. We're trying to move the bodies because we always stand by that door. So we're going to run out, reset the instance, and see if the bodies disappear. Oh, you want me to... Yeah, Villms, I can... Oh, I guess I can't send it. Yeah, I can send it to you after raid. I can send it to you right now. I have to log off. Never mind. Oh, not exit game. We're doing like you bring in the 26th person, you have them reset. Oh yeah, dude, if you host a GDKP, you make so much gold. Our guy, like I made 300k during Ulduar just from like going to it. Like I didn't host or anything. The guy who hosted our run, I think made 800k to a mil. He has 4 or 5 gold caps. He's around there. All right, we're just waiting for them to reset the instance, and then I'll log back in. Okay, that was fast. You can log back in. Well, we don't actually know if the reset's going to work. But the thing that we're trying to do is to get the bodies to disappear of Icehowl. Oh, it worked. So what you do is, so we have a 26 person in the group. You pass them lead, so he is the group leader right now. everybody else, the other 25 people, log out, and the 26th person then resets the instance. We did it in TBC a bunch. I kind of forget why we did. It was like whenever an instance bugged out, or it might have been when you wanted to reset Sunwell during speedruns, like if you messed up your trash. Holy shit, you made 47K. Yeah, that's insane. I make like 10K from our TOGCs because we get crap loot. But yeah, dude, if you're hosting a run, it's easy gold. Like, you'll have more gold than me in like 4 weeks. Or switch a shaman. Does that work, Swayze? I don't know any of like the stuff. But you can just switch a shaman. Back in my day. Bro, my tailoring buffs are running out. Oh, yeah. I see what you're saying, Swayze. Yeah. You know what the best part about having extra shamans or someone to swap shamans on a shaman for was that as a shadow priest in TBC, I never got lust. So, yeah, that was delightful always having the shaman swapped out of your group. I do not miss TBC. It's funny, I thought it was going to be my favorite expansion because it was when I was a kid when it came out, but fuck that shit.
5, 4,
TBC
3,
sucks.
2, 1.
Oh, fuck. Let my dots fall off. Alright, I'm doing some bad dot clipping. Don't do that when you're playing.
Interrupt.
I'm struggling maintaining these buffs right now. Fuck, Dark Vortex. Come on, man. Such an asshole.
Defensive.
Oh, fuck. Sorry, Ah, you bastard. God, I hate this fight. It's so stupid. And now my Shadow Arcane fell off. That's why I hate this crap. Oh, red parsing. Ah. Unfortunate. This is like the same amount I did on my alt Shadow Priest yesterday. So. Yeah, Ari, it's in the video description for YouTube. Sin, you're going wild watching these guys. It's funny. Yeah, if you're not going to get the Algalon gloves, you should get the Lifeless Touch. They're not that much worse. It's like 20 DPS. Like they're a very good substitute. I need to reload to get rid of these Weakauras. You can also get the 10-man heroic gloves out of TOGC. They're basically an upgraded version of the ones from 10-man Algalon, so they're hit haste spell power at 245 item level. They're actually pretty good too, if you can't get the lifeless touch. All right, so not the best parsing day today, unfortunately. But it's okay. I haven't even paid attention to the loot. Oh, it's not in here. Ants of fire. Hey, what's up, Havlos? Yes, VT is absolutely worth multi-dotting. If you don't have the 2-piece from tier 9, it's kind of like, it doesn't give you a whole ton of value, but once you get the tier 9 2-piece, it definitely is. It's really good. Definitely worth maintaining. All right, let's see if we can parse on this guy. All my tailoring buffs, RIP. Now the important thing here is like it really depends on your tank positioning for the ads. I don't know the exact numbers. There's math on it in the Shadow Priest Discord, so you can check there. But essentially, when you don't have the 2-piece bonus, it basically breaks even with casting Mind Flay on your main target, so it's like not really worth it. But once you get the 2-piece bonus, it's definitely a DPS gain. I don't know how much though. Yeah, RIP tailoring buffs 4, 3. I don't even get up for the pull because we had some shenanigans happen with like people
5,
DCing and
4,
stuff.
3, 2, 1.
What? My DP miss, I guess. Ow. Oh, I didn't mean to use inner focus. Whoops. Oh, our tank is lagging.
Interrupt.
So I'm not going to even, since these guys are so far apart, I'm not going to even bother mind searing. I'll mind sear more later. Like, so what I was going to say is that it's really worth it to make sure you're maximizing the value of your casts on these guys. So like, I think this VT will get some good value. But like, only mind sear if you can really hit them.
Focus.
So I'll do a little bit more mind searing here. I'll catch up. But since we approach the cap so fast, you can really pick and choose when you want to mind sear. Oh, didn't mean to. I guess, it's kind of shit too. Oh, okay, maybe just position kind of sucks here. I think our tank positioning just kind of scuffed. Yeah, DPS is low. I can catch up. I just need to... Now I need to AoE a shit ton to catch up. I don't know, I feel like this is just like a kind of scuffed run. People just aren't playing particularly well. Yeah, right. That's what I was waiting for, them to get a bit closer to Mind Sear, but they never did. Because that Mind Sear wasn't going to reach, even with the glyph, it wasn't going to reach all the ads. So, like... Oh, no, don't come to me. One's burrow ending. Oh, of course. Flare procs right now. What awesome timing. It literally ends as soon as he submerges. Dude, what is happening with this Devouring Plague? Alright, let's see if we can catch up. Hopefully we got some good positioning on these ads. Kind of annoying. It's still not reaching. Like, ugh, dude, these tanks today. That one just burrowed, so that's bad. Or submerged. Whatever. All right, sorry guys, I'm not parsing today
Interrupt.
on any of these fights. I guess Jaraxxus was a good parse. Jaraxxus was a personal best. So there's that. You know, if I wanted to be a little bit of a parse monkey, I could do this. Just
Ads.
oh, this is a lot of ads. Well, we do need them to take damage to submerge, so
Interrupt.
the damage isn't entirely worthless. But I could do that and just waste a global.
Ads.
It's a little bit not a great thing to do. But my parse is already kind of scuffed on this fight, so it doesn't really matter. Yeah. Well, we got a cloak, so, you know. Yeah, it's kind of a little bit of a curse raid. That's why, I don't know if you watched my video. Ooh, Misery's End is nice. Deplorable Violence is fine, I guess. Variance, Furor, Crusader Orbs. Ooh, I mean, Blade's good. Hopefully somebody needs it. Protector, Vanquisher, Vanquisher, Conqueror. I don't think I'm getting Conqueror. All right, no loot for me. Yeah, it was a unfortunate raid. Did we even get anything good? Well, bad parsing day. APOC Axe. Does he not have it? He has both. Or wait, hold on. I lied. 245, 258. Yeah, it might be. It very well might be. I mean, the sword's good. Bouncy probably needs it. Yeah, he hasn't gotten that yet, I don't think. Conk is going to be between me and Stack. We both need one more to get our 4-piece of 258. But nothing, no real caster loot today. I mean, this ring is whatever. It's probably going to go to an alt anyway. Yeah, I mean, somebody can use this stuff. It's just like not... Basically, no prog mains are going to be getting like caster loot. I don't know much about the melee stuff. All right, well, I'm going to put on, you know, just a video real quick. It's just going to be a VOD from yesterday. And then... Oh, we're going to do Onyxia. Hold on. I don't know if we're doing it now. Flowing investments. Those are the not great ones. And these legs suck. Unfortunate. Okay, so... Yeah, I mean, Misery's End is awesome, so I don't think it's going to like a main. You know, it's probably gonna go to an alt. That's the thing where it's like it's not a bad item. It's just it's bad for what we need, if that makes sense. Wait, that's the only thing I would want here. But yeah, so I think we're gonna do loot now. So I'm gonna put on just a VOD. It'll just be a VOD from yesterday's stream. For about 10 minutes, and then if we're not doing Onyxia, we can do log reviews after. So, you know, if you just want to come for the raid, then thanks for hanging out. Otherwise, I'll see you guys in like 10 minutes-ish. Once I get this all set up. All right, I'll be right back. It's just yesterday's VOD, so if you watched yesterday, I apologize for not being anything new. See if I can actually parse today. I don't know if I'm bad at Fire Mage. Or maybe I'm bad at critting. I feel like they're just like... Since like Fireball is such a long cast, I'm just not good at timing it. Am I in that? Oh, I forgot to use gloves. Damn it. Meant to do that on pull. Oh, don't land on me, Firebomb. Am I in it? Yo, where are these crits at? That's what I mean. It's like I haven't gotten any hot streaks yet. There we go. Oh. Oh, he died instantly? Alright, cool. Yeah, when you play Moonkin. I mean, doesn't Moonkin have like... They have like 92% crit or something on Starfire? Like, I know something absurd. So like, especially if you don't get a crit on that, you're just like, what the fuck? Like, obviously it's not 100%, but like, oh. I mean, that's why I like Shadow so much, is it's just like less RNG bullshit. I need to get over here. Oh, we didn't last. That's funny. Don't pull it out of range. Surprised no one remembered. Don't freeze. Oh, look at that. That's why I don't want to stay in the range stack. Now I need to remember to ice block, because I always forget that I can ice block the stun. I'm a really bad mage. There we go. Look at that. Boom. Nope. Blink. Unfortunate freeze, but not the worst thing. That was pretty... Oh my god, I'm still 15th. Yeah, I felt like I was pumping. This is some crap. So I'm just like, what? I gotta figure out mage better. Yeah, pallies can bop you, but I mean, they're not gonna bop mages. We use our bops on the warlocks. I mean, mages can ice block, so they should do that. Ideally, no one's using ice block in the beginning of the fight. Did I cast? Oh, he does have it. Cool. What did we do relieved? Ah, yes. Yeah, I think we have our bops assigned even, just that they don't randomly go on like different targets each week. But every raid we assign bops for the Ice House done. All right, now I need to remember to not use combust on pull, because I always forget.
Quickly, heroes! Destroy the demon lord before it can open a portal to its twisted demonic realm.
You face Jaraxxus, Eridon Lord of the Burning Legion.
Another power 4 seconds.
Empowered. Portal.
And we're done. That was fast. We still have some stuff we're talking about, like officer stuff, so might still be another few minutes. But we're done with loot.
Empowered.
Oh. Oh my god, what? Oh, I lost my target. That was annoying. That was weird. That sucked.
Empowered.
Whoops. That guy died because... none of the mages spell stole there, so he died. So rip the Grand Crusader mount this run. Okay. We are going to go do Oni real quick. And then we can do log reviews after. So I'm going to swap characters because this one's saved. Actually, is there any? Do I want to go on my mage or my warlock? I don't think so. My warlock has the bag. So we'll go on my other priest. Who's got this group? Bloaf. So what we can do while we wait is we can start up the queue for anybody who wants to do a log review or get a log review done. So you can just throw your name into chat. And remember that supporters on YouTube have priority. All right, LaRue, you are first. Let me make a doc. Probably do like 4-ish today. All right, Jacob, just tell me your character's name, and then you can be second. Character's name and server. Or I guess you can just say you. It's fine. I'll get your server in a second. Because we're going to do Oni first. Let me... All right, Cosmic Pope. All right, so right now it's just you two guys. Cool. And then, you know, if anybody else wants a log review, you can just throw your name in, and if not, then we'll just do 2, and we'll call it a night. But we're gonna head to Oni. Or actually, you know, I'll let them. They're probably, yeah, they already teleported there, so I'll just get a summon. Johnny's here. All right, we could do you, John. Jacob, since you are not a supporter, unfortunately, and John is, he will be 2nd, and then you will be 3rd. You don't know how to parse higher on beasts? All right, we can totally look at that. He's here, so we got Cosmic Pope, Johnny's here, and then Jacob. We'll just do a quick 10-man, or a quick Oni, rather. You don't... So, the way I do it is if you're a supporter on YouTube, you have priority over people who aren't. But you don't need to be one for a log review. That's all. What's up, Cleo? I'm going to record my gameplay for this week's... Yeah, totally. Record your gameplay. That would be awesome. I'd love to take a look at it. I like looking at VODs probably more than logs. It's just, there's so much more that can be said about your decision making. And I think that that's probably more useful information than a VOD review. Or I'm sorry, a log review, personally. Yeah, and I think like the thing about VODs versus logs is that like you might do something that's suboptimal in your logs, like depending on when you choose to like dot a target or something. But when you watch the VOD, you might be able to realize that because of something that happened that, you know, we couldn't really see in the log, that might have been the optimal play. Or vice versa. You might have done something that was optimal for the wrong reason. So you want to make sure that you learn the right reasons to do things. But I like VODs just for the perspective of the player to gain that. Oh, the only other thing I'd say, Sean, is if you have an add-on that can like show your casts like here. So this is like the Details streamer add-on plugin. I think it's part of Details. I don't know if I downloaded anything different, but just so like to help me see your cast, that would be awesome in like the order that you're doing them. Because I was doing one VOD review and it was kind of hard to know, especially when you have a lot of instant casts, like if you're doing like Shadow Word Pain, Devouring Plague while moving, Shadow Word Death. If your UI isn't the cleanest, it can be hard to tell which spell you're using. Are they there yet? How to parse on Oni? Oh, that's easy. Be the only person who AoEs the ads. Tell your raid to ignore them. It was gonna be me yesterday, then I pulled aggro and died. So didn't quite work out. But yeah, parsing on Oni, since there's no rules, it's just degeneracy. You know, it's like do what Fragmento does. AoE everything, tell your raid to ignore it or ignore the ads, and then just make sure you don't die. That's about it. All right, can I get a summon? Are you guys summoning? Already. Guarantee we'll probably have more people die on this fight than we had in the entire raid. 25 man. There'll be like 5 people that got cleaved in the first 20 seconds. And then there'll be a few people that die after that. The Discord comms are goofy. Discord is very goofy right now. Oh, Fluffy, who's that on, by the way? You know, it could really be good use on human pants. Oh, man. No, it's fine. I don't care. All right, we're death rolling for FM. This is our roll for FM. I stole you. Okay, well, this is too fast. We gotta finish this. Oh man.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh my god. What are these rolls? Alright, human pants 1. Gimme. All that effort. And I'm sure I lost more DPS by like not DPSing in the first 5 seconds than I gained from actually getting FM. Hey, look at this. We got wells. Yeah, so if you wanna parse, be the only person doing this. Oh. Oops. Well, don't do that. I'm really impressed nobody's dead right now. That is very different than most of our Onyxias. Yeah, I don't think it is either. I don't know where this guy's like hitbox is for his tail, like to get whipped. Oh, this guy's near nothing. Okay. Like, I never did this fight in Classic or Vanilla. So this is really my first time doing it. Well, my first raid tier doing it. Obviously not my first time doing the fight right now. Oh, Heresy's dead. There's one. That's our tank. Oh. Oh, rise down. That's 2. Roar. Oh, I'm a human, right? We did it. All right, that was a hard fight. All right, give me gems. Give me bag. All right, we'll start log reviews in like 2 minutes. Once this loot goes out. But okay, so log reviews, we got LaRue, and then John White, and then Jacob. That's our queue for right now. Probably fit in one more before I get hungry and want to log off. Did loot go out? Gems, bag. Gems went out. Bag went out. All right, didn't get either. Whatever. All right, cool. All right, so first up is LaRue. You are Cosmic Pope. Let's do it. Sorry, let's go to Classic Warcraft Logs first. Sorry, you are, I want to say Netherguard Keep. Netherguard Keep, yep. Okay, cool. Do you have any fight in particular you want to look at? Or do you want me to just pick one? Northrend Beasts. All right, cool. All right, your fight from yesterday is pretty good. All right, 247 item level. Hell yeah. Before we start, I just want to take a look at your gear. I like to start with people's gear, just to see if there's anything egregious. All right, your horde, 293 hit, awesome. All right. Yeah, no real issues here. Hit looks good, items look good, lifeless touch. Flare and rain, very nice. 258 cloak. Two piece. Okay, cool. Yeah, your gear looks great. No issues there. Okay. So let's pull up the analyzer, throw your logs into here. So really this fight comes down to two things. Really maximizing your damage for multiple targets and then making sure you don't get RNG'd, which is obviously something you can't really prevent. So don't get snowballed, obviously. Try not to get frozen. So like spreading out in phase 3 is super important. It looks like you, I don't know if you guys got stunned right here. We can take a look at this in a second, but either he just like sent out another stun or you got frozen, which is why your damage drops there. So your delay is really good, but you have 18 clips. So I'm assuming your other fights probably have a lot of clips too. I only had 2. 9, 12. Yeah, I think so. Something for you to work on is just make sure you don't clip your spells. It seems like your delay is pretty low, but it's also going to be lower because you have these clips, because they're not being taken into account for your Mind Flay delay. So just try to be more careful on not clipping them because you just, I mean, you basically forfeited 200 DPS by clipping your Mind Flay 18 times. So like here you have 94 millisecond delay, which is really good. That's like what I am on most fights. But the difference is I'll have maybe like 2 Mind Flay clips, not 18. So it would be better if this was like 120 and you had 0 clips. You would just gain a lot more DPS from that than clipping. So that's not beast specific, but it's more of just like something to think about. Let's update the settings so it has 2-piece bonus. So your dot downtime with Devouring Plague is pretty bad. Oh, interesting. Clip previous dot downtime 9.6 seconds. Wait, what? The downtime was not 9.6 seconds. Oh, it's because you're switching. This is interesting. So you're switching your Devouring Plague by target. You're actually clipping it a lot. So okay, so your Devouring Plague is done correctly up top. Like you never swap it to the Cobalt, which you probably want to. Okay, so a few things here. First, let's look at the Snowballs. Okay, so you do Vampiric Touch on all of them. I would say unless they die super fast. So I want to look at their HP of the Snowballs. Okay, so these die pretty. I guess these ones die pretty quick. You didn't know that DP only works on one target? Okay, that explains what you were doing there. Yeah, so when you cast it on, so if you cast it on one target and then you cast it on another, it'll remove it from your first target. That explains what was happening right here, the ping ponging. Obviously, so like the general rule of thumb with Devouring Plague, or I guess the way I use it, I wouldn't say it's a rule of thumb, is leave it on like the priority target for the fight. So what I mean here is like whichever Jormungandr you're killing first, leave Devouring Plague on that one and make sure you put Vampiric Touch and Shadow Word Pain on the other one. And then you're doing your single target damage into the one that has Devouring Plague, essentially. And then on a fight like Jaraxxus, pretty much never, like always have Devouring Plague on Jaraxxus. And then you just dot up the other adds with like a Shadow Word Pain, Vampiric Touch. And you never swap Devouring Plague off of Jaraxxus. Because if you do that, you're going to clip it, which means you're losing DPS because you'll be like in between a tick and then you reset the tick timer. And then also you're not going to get the full amount of ticks on that cast because, adds die pretty quickly. And then the final thing is that adds don't always have all the same debuffs that the main boss does. So if you cast your Devouring Plague onto one of the adds instead of the main boss, then it will be doing less damage than it otherwise would. So basically you always want to keep it on your main like priority. It's not really your priority target. It's really just the main target of the fight. Might be a better way to describe it. Which, like I was saying, would be Jaraxxus. Here would just be the first. This is really funny. Would be the first. What's it called? Jormungandr that you're killing. So that's easily explained. So at least that makes me feel better because I was just like, what is happening here? Okay. So Snowballs. So if we go back to your damage done to the Snowballs. Yes. So there are, so the Villms edit of the Fojji Weakaura pack that I have. So if you see how my Devouring Plague is like lit up green, it will light up green with around it when to recast Devouring Plague. And then the bottom one here will have a tick timer on it. So essentially what I can do is I can see the green and know that I want to recast it and then look for when this ticks and then I can recast it. And that's in the description of the video. So I don't have it as a standalone Weakaura anymore. I used to. But if you do want it as a standalone, you can go to the Shadow Priest Discord and check out the add-ons and Weakaura's channel. Okay, so let's get back to here. So I want to talk about Snowballs first. We'll just kind of go down the line of the fight. So you're just doing Vampiric Touch on them. They generally live long enough that you'll get value out of Shadow Word Pain too. So like, I don't know if you watched, like my fights tonight were pretty bad overall. But let's just pull up, or actually it's right down here. So my damage wasn't the best. It's been a while since I hit 99 this fight, to be honest. But if we look at the Snowballs, you can see that pretty much what I'm doing is maintaining Shadow Word Pain and Vampiric Touch the entire time that they're alive. And then I start single targeting them once Gormok dies. So that's what this spike is here. That's when I apply all the dots to them and Devouring Plague. So for you could get more value by making sure that you have Shadow Word Pain on them because they tend to live a long time. And again, if we go back to that health view, see the first one, the ones after the first one died kind of quickly. Like, so this first one lived, started at 26 and then died a minute later. So it was alive for a minute. So that would have been a lot of Shadow Word Pain value if you maintain that dot on him. These other ones died pretty fast. I mean, they were still alive, they activated at like 110. This one died at 139, so that's still 30 seconds. 40 seconds for this one. So you would have gotten a lot of value out of Shadow Word Pain. So just make sure you put that onto the snowballs, and then you're maintaining it. So just do a Mind Flay when it has like 4 or 5 seconds left on its timer. Oh yeah, so Sean, that's not Fojji's. I mean, it is Fojji's, but it's an update specifically from Villms, who's who's a really smart guy in the Shadow Breeze Discord. So just check out the link in the video description on YouTube, because the updated one that the Villms edit is in there. Okay, so one is just maximizing your dot uptime here. And then the important thing is that we're looking at hit points. Let's look at, when does Gormok die? So Gormok dies at 107. So what I want to do is, oh, sorry, I went back too far. So he died at 107. So which is this drop in damage right here, which makes sense. Here, actually, let's do this. Nope. Sorry, actually, we can just do it in here instead of like going through the events. So all targets, let's get off of Devouring Plague. So he dies at 107-ish. So Mind Flay, your final Mind Flay into Gormok. Didn't tick, so he just died. You Vampiric Touch all of them. Okay, so you Mind Sear. Mind Sear doesn't work. They have, so like, if we can even look. Like, if you look in your log, you don't even have, like, Mind Sear is not a damage event in here. The Snowballs have weird interactions with AoE spells. I think there are spells that are, like, Living Bomb, for example. If you put a Living Bomb on the Snowballed, the explosion does not hit the Snowballed. It hits the main boss, but it doesn't hit the Snowballed. So, like, similarly, Mind Sear just doesn't hit them. So the only, if you Mind Seared earlier, the only thing it would have hit would have been Gormok, but he was obviously dead at this point. So this Mind Sear that you, I don't know, you basically had, you didn't have any casts for 7 seconds here. This Mind Sear just did nothing. So that's why your hits are 0. So what you want to do, what you did was right here, you put a Vampiric Touch onto all the Snowballs. What I would have then done is put up Devouring Plague onto one of them. And then depending on how much HP they have, potentially Shadow Word Pain, if they're going to live for a little bit. If they die pretty quickly, then you just want to single target them down. But this is a really good time to maximize your damage. So like, here, let me zoom out on mine. Let's do here. So you can see my damage stays relatively flat. Like there's a small little dip here, but I'm still doing like 6-7k DPS. Yours, you know, you're going down to like 3k. You're basically just having Vampiric Touch right here, and then your damage comes up. But you can have this damage be higher at this point in time just by maintaining more dots on the Snowballs, and obviously not Mind Searing. But you know, if you just learned about Devouring Plague, obviously it makes sense why you were Mind Searing here. So that's one. Okay, cool. The Jermungers, this is gonna be fun. So, okay, so you kill Dreadscale first. Okay, so you killed Dreadscale first. Let's look at Acid Maw. You have a decent amount of single target going into him. We can just actually check here. Let's go to Acid Maw. Sorry, what time is this? At like 1:30. Okay, so you put your 2 dots on Acid Maw. You put your Devouring Plague. We'll just ignore Devouring Plague. Obviously, that was wrong. So the thing is, Dreadmaw is your kill target, which is why you're not really attacking. You're like maintaining your buffs. Basically, what I would do here is make sure you're never casting Mind Blast onto Acid Maw. Like, just that's similar to like what I was talking about with Devouring Plague. Like, Acid Maw might not be as debuffed as your primary target, which here's Dreadscale, who you want to kill first. And you just want that damage to go into Dreadscale anyway, so you kill him faster. So make sure that you're only putting Vampiric Touch and Shadow Word Pain onto Acid Maw, or whichever, you know, I'm assuming that you're going to do this the same every week, but whichever Jermunger you're not killing immediately, you just maintain these 2 dots on. So it would make sense to use a Mind, you know, this Mind Flay is obviously really early, but like this Mind Flay here makes sense to refresh Shadow Word Pain, because that's 14 seconds later. So this one makes a lot of sense. And then maintaining Vampiric Touch, great. I would just reduce some of your single target casts until the other one is about to die. So if we talk about Dread Scale, which is the one you're single targeting, obviously you were bouncing Devouring Plague back and forth. So this is where your clips are hurting you. So these two casts back to back. What this is saying, so you did 2 ticks, but you canceled this when it was basically halfway to the 3rd tick. So you either want to, if you're trying to do a 2-tick Mind Flay, you want to make sure you're canceling it earlier than that. So you're not waiting as long to cancel it. Or if you're trying to do a 3-tick Mind Flay, you want to make sure you get to that 3rd tick. So the fact that you're pretty much halfway through the cast, I'm assuming you meant to do a 2-tick Mind Flay. But this is just something you wanna try to just pay attention to your cast bar, and just make sure you're not waiting too long or clipping your Mind Flay too early. So it's kind of a fine balance between that, and it'll get easier the more you play. So, and again, that's not really specific to this fight. It's just general Shadow Priest play. So what I want to talk about is when they burrow. So it looks like they burrow around 205. So I want to check out your casts at 205 on all targets. Okay, dispersion for mana makes a lot of sense there. Now, the thing that I want to talk about, let's see what you did. So if they burrow at 205, you Vampiric Touch to 203, you Devouring Plague to 203 on a Dreads, or 201. Good. You Devouring Plague to 159. Okay, so this looks pretty good. It looks like you refreshed your your Vampiric Touch on Acid Maw. You Mind Flayed to refresh Shadowward Pain. You then casted this. So this is perfect. I wanted to see that you were basically refreshing your dots just before the burrow, because your dots still tick while they're underground and it's free damage. You want to make sure that you are doing that. Cool. So honestly, outside of the whole Devouring Plague thing, like your Jermonger play is actually pretty good. You maintain dots on the other target. Just do a little bit less single target. Like just make sure your primary single target spells always go into your main target unless you're using Mind Flay to refresh Shadowward Pain. Cool. So that's the Jermongers. Let's talk about here. Did you get frozen here? It looks like you might have. We can check. Oh, you got frozen twice? Starting at the end. Okay. So the thing about here, instead of doing that, we can do... Oh. Enemies. Cosmic Pope. Arctic Breath. So at 325 and 410. Okay. So 325 and 410. So let's take a look at where you were standing here. First at 325. Okay, so now the way Arctic Breath works, which I think you know, is that it's a cone, right? So it could target like this priest, and you know this shaman's probably gonna get hit, and then like through this mage, like you're all gonna get frozen here. You want to be standing like right here, and there was probably an acid puddle, like one of the green smoke clouds, essentially why nobody was standing here. If you're an engineer, I honestly would highly recommend just like booting out of this group and taking up space here. I do that. You'll spend a global or 2 moving. So if you do that while you're moving, just use Shadow or Death, Devouring Plague. I did it yesterday. I basically moved from like right here to right here, and it was 1 global with Rocket Boots. If you don't have Rocket Boots, it can be harder, but you just need to plan ahead of time, essentially. So like before he comes out, if we go back a little bit, so it looks like you guys are spreading out. Ice Hell's coming out. You kind of... I guess it's kind of hard to know that nobody is really going to go over here. I guess these are all melee outside of your hunter. I think just trying to position yourself so that you can be in a spot, you know, that's obviously not near all the other ranged. Now, you can never reduce your chance to 0 to get frozen, to not get frozen, but you can minimize it just by separating yourself. And then the other one is at 410. So again, similar. Well, I actually no. So if this is Ice Owl, you have a ton of people over here and you're over here. It's actually kind of unlucky. You probably have like a 30% chance to get frozen here. You're actually positioned pretty well. That's just kind of unfortunate that you got frozen there. Like, obviously there's so many people here. Okay, so I would say this first one, probably your fault for positioning. Second one, a little bit unlucky there. And again, there's like, you can only try to minimize it. Obviously, there's nothing you can really do. Now, okay, so you did really well with Shadow Fiend using it on the pull and then on the crash. Where'd you use your potion? Okay, use your potion there. Good. And then let's look at the crash. So it happens at about 3:30. Okay. Oh, this is good. So you vampiric touch into devouring plague. Now the thing that I wonder, so what I think happened here. Oh, did he hit somebody? Because it doesn't seem like your spells are doing 100% increased damage. This crit, right? Yeah, it seems like they're doing normal damage, so he didn't hit somebody. He had the debuff. Oh yeah, obviously he had the debuff. Your damage spiked like crazy. Why do these 3k 57? Right, didn't hit anyone. I wonder if does this like normalize damage or something? Oh wait, sorry. I'm looking at the wrong spot. I'm an idiot. Ignore me. That's why. Don't mind me. Okay, so this is obviously where your Shadow Fiend is. Berserking. Must be nice to be a troll. Okay, so I like the Vampiric Touch into Devouring Plague. That's good to refresh. Mind Blast, Mind Flay, all looks really good. So let's see, Devouring Plague did 48k, did 56k. So I'm assuming this was your refresh just before his debuff fell off. Great job with that. Yeah, I think you use Shadow or Death a lot, so that might be something. I don't know if you were moving or if it was just before. You give a lot of Shadow or Death here. So Shadow or Death is something that you really only want to use for movement. Oh, habit. Did you like take a break from playing Shadow Priest for a while? Because like your fundamentals seem really good. There's just some updates for Wrath that it seems like you might not quite be aware of, or you just haven't played it a ton. But yeah, so Shadow or Death, you basically never use it in your rotation. There are niche circumstances when you can use it. And so essentially, the only time you use it in your rotation is when you have, like, you're channeling a Mind Flay or something, and you have about a global until you need to refresh one of your spells. So basically, if your Devouring Plague has like a second left on the timer, or if your Vampiric Touch has like 2 seconds left because you have the cast time, and the spell you just casted ended when you have that amount of time remaining on your dot, you'd want to use a Shadow or Death as a single global instead of doing a 2-tick Mind Flay. But even that, if done correctly, gets you like 20 or 30 extra DPS. Like, it's super small in current gear. So basically, I always tell people just ignore Shadow or Death and only use it for movement. Oh, you're used to Kata as an execute. Yeah, no, Shadow or Death really sucks, unfortunately. It will get better, but just it's not quite there right now. Even with the glyph, it sucks. Hey, what's up, Rakan? How's it going, man? Yeah, so the only thing about Shadow or Death is really what I would say is don't even worry about the niche circumstance when to use it in your rotation. Just save it as your first global during movement. That's I think will get you the most DPS. So it hits harder than the improved portion of Devouring Plague. So if you need to move for like 2 globals in a row, you'd use Shadow or Death and then Devouring Plague. But overall, I think your rotation looks really good. I think for you, it's really maximizing your dots onto, what's it called? The Snowballs and then the Jermungers. And then obviously not clipping your Mind Flays. So this is something I would just like, what I would do if I were you, is just before raid for like 3 minutes, just cast Mind Flay onto a target dummy. And just get used to the feel of it. Maybe if you don't have a sound, maybe add a sound to help you get used to the rhythm. Hold on 1 second. Just so you can get used to like the rhythm of Mind Flay, just so that you're not clipping as much. Like I said, it'd be much better if this was like 130 MS, but you didn't have these clips. You would gain a lot more DPS than you would lose from the average Mind Flay delay being higher. So, but I mean, overall, your logs are really good. So, yeah, especially since seems like you're not quite used to Wrath Shadow Priest. And then, you know, this is just positioning, not getting frozen. That's obviously unfortunate. Oh, the other final thing is just before, so like right here, just before he does his stun and the knockback and everything. Oh yeah, no problem, Sean. You should thank Villms. I don't know if he's still here, but he's the creator of it. He's in the Shadow Priest Discord. He's awesome. Oh, sorry, Malia. I missed your comment. I don't know if you're still here. The best time to use potion during Northrend Beasts is during the first crash on Ice Hell. So basically, you want to use all your cooldowns here. So you can see this guy, he's using Shadow Fiend, he's using Berserking because he's a troll, and he's using his Potion of Speed. So you want to try to line up all of, you know, the very few cooldowns that Priest has for this crash, because you get the 100% damage buff, which is going to be a lot stronger than using it during Lust, which is only a 30% haste buff. So if you're still here, that's when you want to use it. Sorry about missing that, by the way. Oh, and then the final thing I was going to say, which it looks like you might have done, is just make sure you're refreshing your dots before the crash. So just so that they're ticking. Vampiric Touch, Shadow Word Pain. It looks like your Devouring Plague might have fallen off. So just making sure that that's still on Ice Hell when you get knocked against the wall and then he's like charging and running back. That's pretty minimal because it's like not a ton of downtime there, but it is still downtime where you want your dots to be doing a lot of work. But I think your logs are really good. Any questions on anything I said here? Yeah, no problem, Luru. No, his next logs will be great. I mean, his logs are already really good, so. Oh, sick. All right, Johnny, you are up. Are you still here? Johnny's here. 99 next. Oh, you can totally get a 99 next week. I didn't even look at like what are your kill times. Oh, 457. That's a little bit slower than ours. But yeah, I think you definitely have the gear and a pretty solid raid. You could totally get a 99. You're nervous, John. Did you also want beasts? Was that what you said? All right. I guess since you said you wanted Beast and Jaraxxus, I'll let you pick which one. But since I just did Beast, did anything that I say there, did that help you, or do you want me to go through your Beast anyway? Oh yeah, no problem, Malia. All right, you want to do Jaraxxus? All right, let's do it. All right, so your best one's your most recent one, which is always good to see. 219, that's an awesome kill time. So obviously a lot better than your 302 here. 250, hell yeah. What an item level. All right, let's take a look at your gear. Again, just want to 305 and your horde, so that's like not too bad. You're a little bit above, but not by a lot. Aber to brute force. Is that a PvP thing? I've never even heard of that. Oh yeah, I mean your gear looks great. You're like very slightly over where you want to be for hit, but you know, I think with your gear that's kind of hard to avoid, so no issues with that. Cool. Okay. Oh, you got a nice Mind Seer off of here. Cool. Shadow Fiend on the pull. It really sucks that your Lust went out 10 seconds into the fight. I don't know, like, does your Shaman just, did they forget? Or is this standard? Because I guess my point that I'm getting at is you casted Shadow Fiend like basically 2 seconds into the fight. 1 second is like your first damage instance. If you consistently less 10 seconds into the fight, then just make sure you use your Shadow Fiend here. Okay, yes. Yeah, so don't do what I just said. That really sucks for you. And that's just unfortunate. Like, your Shadow Fiend probably would have done another 10k damage. I think mine usually does around 45k with Lust when I do it right on pull, like on Jaraxxus. Like, here, I can even see. What did he do today? Oh, 34k. Okay, so mine actually wasn't that good, despite getting Lust at the very beginning. Okay, so not the greatest one. But I think it usually is around 45k with Lust. So yeah, that's unfortunate. That's out of your control. So nothing you can really do there. Your damage curve actually looks pretty good. Let's look at the Nether portal. So you just did a Vampiric Touch. You got 6 ticks out of it. So you probably could have thrown a Shadow Word Paint on here. I guess not the worst thing. Mistress. So let's see. So you did 2 Vampiric Touches, 1 Shadow Word Pain. Oh, did I say that, John? Okay, that's fair. Yeah, yeah. That's fair. Yeah, I think Shadow Word Pain probably would have gotten 3 or 4 ticks. Like, it would have probably broken even with, like, casting a Mind Flay onto your main target, so yeah, I think that's fine. Oh, sorry, let's go back to Mistresses. I probably would have... Seems like your Shadow Word Pain fell off a little bit early. I might have casted a Mind Flay to refresh it. It seems like about 4 seconds before it dies. Or wait, let's put this... What am I doing? Let's put this into here. This will be easier. I guess this doesn't tell me when the Mistress died. Let's look at her health. So this falls off basically at 52 seconds in. Resources. What am I doing? There we go. Oh my god. I'm just clicking everything that I'm not meaning to. Get out. What is happening? Sorry, 1 second. Just gonna refresh the page. Okay. Resources, HP, enemies, Mistress. Okay, so she died at about 53. Okay, so never mind. I was going to tell you to refresh your Shadow Word Pain, but that was not necessary. Because she died like a second after that fell off. So that was actually perfect timing. Okay, so everything for the first part looks pretty good. In terms of how you're handling the ads. Why do I keep... I'm just like clicking in all the wrong spots right now. Holy crap. Okay. Sorry. All right, cool. So I think that looks fine. Go to all targets. Oh, your Mind Flay delay was insane. That's very good. 68 with only 2 clips. That's awesome. Your downtime with VT is a little bit high, 1.6. That should be closer to around 1 second, which it is for your Devouring Plague. So that's just something to try to focus on. It's interesting, your damage, it seems like your damage once the volcano comes out kind of falls off a little bit. Vampiric Touch and Mind Sear. Okay, so you were Mind Searing, right? How did that Mind Sear do? So your Mind Sear is about 5k DPS while it was happening. Your Mind Flay, that's during Lust. Your Mind Flay is about the same, honestly. So you can see it's like 57, 54, 3k, 4k. It's going to vary depending on how many crits you get, obviously. But I don't know that this Mind Sear was technically worth it, considering the DPS is pretty similar to what you get out of Mind Flay. Yeah, okay, that's fair. See, this is one of those things where it would have been cool to see your VOD, just to see how they were spaced. But I don't think this wasn't that much worse than Mind Flay, so like I don't think this was really a problem. Like I'm not sure if you probably lost a very slight amount of DPS there. Okay, so Volcano, right? You did Vampiric Touch and Mind Sear. Infernals. Okay, so you did 1 VT on all 3 of them. All right, so let's look at when they spawn. So let's go back to HP. Of your Infernals. Okay, so spawn at 124, died at 136. Spawn at 128, died at 138. Okay, let's just do this. 124, 128, 134. And then let's look at your Infernals. So 127, 129, 139. So 27, 29, which is about right. 34. Okay, so you're just a little late to dot up the third one, but not the biggest deal in the world. So you got 4 ticks on all of those. That's not bad. They all did like 8k is basically the minimum damage that you want out of a global cooldown. And you totally got that on all of them. So that was a good amount of damage there. So you did well with the Infernals. So, you know, honestly, it seems like it might be. It seems like you handled the ads really well. I think it might be your Jaraxxus. So you had 4 clip dots, which are probably Devouring Plague, if I had to guess. Like, this actually looks like a pretty clean kill. Like, I don't see anything majorly wrong that you did. Let's see. 250, 59, 10.2k. Like, your kill's pretty fast. I want to see your damage breakdown versus mine. Because I just feel like, oh. Let's do this. I can't do it with this up. Hold on. I just want these side by side. A little shortcut's not popping up. Oh, there it is. Here we go. Okay, cool. So now I want to try to figure out what was my damage versus yours? Your kill was 219, mine was 158. So obviously very different kill times. You know, maybe, let me actually see if I have one that's closer to 219. I got all of ours are faster. 214 is my slowest. Okay, cool. We can use that. So Devouring Plague is 1. Where I'm getting more damage. Why? I have 51% crit rate. You have 35%. So that's kind of out of your control. Mind Blast 17 versus 17, despite your kill being 5 seconds longer. Shadow Fiend 52k. $40, 104, 40, 113. Trying to think. I don't see anything that's like really egregious here. And like 127. I think it's just that like your Jaraxxus damage is a little bit lower. When did you potion? So something that I would say about your potion is you just use it here on Jaraxxus. What I would do is I would save it for when your volcano comes out. So that way your potion is benefiting all the VTs that you're casting here. And then it would have even benefited your mines here, making it tick faster. So having it benefit all your VTs is really good. What about scale? Obviously it's 2-minute cooldown, you just don't pull. I mean, your kill. So what I would do, I think, so this is interesting. So your kill is 219. What I would do with scale is you wait to use it for lust. I would use it right on pull, because then at 2 minutes here, you could use it again. and you would just be able to finish the fight with it. So that's important when knowing your kill time. And it does seem like this was a faster kill time than your last one. So maybe 219 isn't representative of like your normal kill times, but it's something to think about, that if waiting to use something is going to lose you a use of it, it's generally better to use it immediately so that you can use it again later. Okay, well, yeah, so here, okay, so you use all these things at the same time, basically. So use them like 15 seconds into the fight. It seems like you probably waited for Lust to go out. I think it might be better given the fact that Scale is a 2-minute cooldown and like Berserking is 3 minutes, so you obviously only get it once. You probably want Scale as a separate keybind somewhere so that you can use it right on pull, so that you get the benefit from it again right here, right at the end of the fight. So it might be worth it to separate Scale from this macro you have. I mean, similar with Gloves, right? Because Gloves is a 1-minute cooldown. So like if you use it here and then 1 minute, you could have used it again at 2 minutes. So I think probably having those two together in a separate keybind that you on this fight use on pull would be really beneficial. Yeah, so okay, so you put your dots up on the ads very quickly. I think the only one dot you didn't do that I would recommend would probably, I think I might do a Shadow Word paint onto the portal. Yeah, I think this comes down to your Jaraxxus damage. But that's interesting because your Mind Flay, I'm actually kind of stumped here, I'll be honest. Like your Mind Flay delay is insane. 68 that's better than I do on like 99% of my fights. I think I've seen myself at like 50 once, but like on my best fights, I'm usually around 80. And the fact that you only had 2 Mind Flay clips. I mean, you had 3 clip dots. I wonder. All right, so it's like you had Demonic Pact. I just want to make sure that like that thing didn't die. I think, is there any buff you guys don't have? I mean, he has 250 item level, so like your Demonic Pact buff should be pretty big. Log on next week and get you some 99s. I'm just trying to figure this out. It seems like you're doing everything right. Like here, let's look at your average spell power and stuff. And I mean, your item level is 250, so like this is 250. Now I want to see. Granted, the kill is different, but like. So what's funny is our average haste is the same. Oh wait, hold on. So my average haste is a little bit higher. Global cooldown usage is like 1% higher, which basically means we're doing like the same thing. My spell power is 100 or 200, like 210 higher than yours on average throughout the fight. I'm really trying to figure this out. Like nothing seems like, it seems like this should be a 95 plus for sure. And I don't know where the average spell, but like your gear is really good. We looked at it, right? There was no major issues here. Yeah, I don't know if it's like RNG. This is the first time I'm truly stumped. I'm sorry. I think this is probably a good example of where a VOD would be really helpful. Trying to think, because like obviously you have 13% damage. You have a demonic pact. Assuming you have spell haste totem, which also comes from boomies, I think, right? Like you're not missing any buffs. Yeah, I mean, let's hold on. Let's go to your warrior. Resources, spell power. I mean, 326 spell power. That's pretty bad, but I mean, that was only 5 seconds. And then it's 560, 570, like it's really good after the first 5 seconds of the fight, but that's not gonna, especially since Lust went out late. It's not like that even affected Lust. I mean, 219 is a fast kill time, so yeah, no one died. Oh wait, this guy, hold on. Yeah, still no one died. I'm not quite sure. And I mean, your crits are relatively good. Like 30 to 40% is what you could expect. Like Mind Blast, a little unfortunate. Shadow Fiend was a little unfortunate. This damage dip is the only thing that like really looks out of place. So like 124 to 128. So like maybe let's look there. 124, 128. Oh, so you're doing VT. So I guess here's something. You cast VT at 125 or 124 and it lands at 125 and then you don't do anything for 2 seconds. So I think seems like you could be a little bit better just reducing downtime when switching targets. Even that's not like, I mean, that's 2 seconds that you're losing. And like your GCD usage was pretty comparable to mine. I'm not quite sure. Let me go back to my kill again. This is a different kill. This was a faster one, right? 201. Where am I getting more value? Oh, my Vampiric Touch is doing a lot more than yours. So this is interesting. Your fight is 18 seconds longer than mine. I have 1 less cast, but the same number of hits. In a shorter fight. See, Devouring Plague, you have 5 more ticks than me. They're roughly the same. Mine ticks doing a little bit more. Shadow Word Pain is roughly the same. Mind Blast, 982, 801. 15 versus 17. That's probably just crit RNG though, because you had 17% crit. So what did I Vampiric Touch? Jaraxxus. Let's do it this way. So Jaraxxus, Nether Portal. Where did you have downtime? So 3 seconds on the Mistress. But even like your average dot downtime is 1.6 and mine's 1 second. So like we had 3 Infernals. We had 1 Mistress, same as you. But if my haste is higher, so my haste is on average 5% higher, which would make sense. It's like the thing that doesn't make sense to me is that like my haste is higher, my spell power is higher, my crit was higher. It might have just been a bad RNG fight for you. Like, I don't know if you were out of range of some buff or something at some point, or like if you were out of range of your spell haste totem, because you're pretty much directly 5% under me. Let me see, where were you standing? Or that's not what I meant to click. Replay. Like, are you in like the middle of everything? Oh, you are kind of far. I mean, your Ellie's here. Boomies. I'd say maybe try to stay more towards the center. Like, you don't really need to be super spread on this fight. The chain lightning is only dangerous if it goes out when he still has stacks of that debuff that's supposed to get spell stolen. So as long as your mages are doing that, you don't need to be super far away from everybody. I don't know. I think you just got unlucky, and I'm not quite sure how. Sorry, John. I don't see anything like super egregious here. I think I kind of want to see you do this again next week and then come back, because I can't quite figure out anything particularly wrong here. I just know it seems like your stats, like, yeah, your is definitely worse than mine, but it's not that much worse. Like, it's very comparable. So I think you got unlucky somewhere along the course of this fight, and I'm not quite sure how. But there's something I can't really explain. I'm sorry, John. Yeah, I mean, and that's kind of part of the RNG, but like crit percent being 30 to 40% is roughly in line with what we would expect. Like for me, the big thing that I see is vampiric touch. That's like the outlier versus my damage. I got 500 DPS on that. And it's like everything else was like 1 to 200 DPS. Like our Mind Flay was actually the same. Devouring Plague, like 100 DPS. Shadow Word Pain, 100 DPS. Mind Blast, 180 DPS. Shadow Fiend was 100, almost 200 DPS. So it's like everything is just doing a little bit more. Yeah, that's actually a good point. Like if we look at, I mean, I'm getting 800 more DPS on Jaraxxus than you are. You know, the interesting thing here, I think it might be dot downtime for you. Like ignoring the uptime percent numbers, because I don't think these are right. Your fight was 18 seconds longer than mine, but you only had 3 more ticks of vampiric touch than I did. And I know my haste was higher. And that's the thing is like, I feel like this might even be a haste issue. Like, I don't know how much 5% haste would impact you over the course of a whole fight. If you're not having that versus somebody who is. Like, obviously your cast time shorter, but also the duration of the dot shorter. But that's 300 DPS on the boss right there. Shadow Word Pain, about the same. Mind Blast. Obviously your Mind Blast didn't really crit that much. Shadow Fiend, 35k. Yeah, your Shadow Fiend was just kind of unfortunate. It was just unlucky. The fact that he didn't cast Lust so late. Or the fact that he did cast Lust so late. Yeah, I kind of agree with that, Sean. I don't see anything egregious here. I think, John, I'd love you to come back next week after your next raid, because I want to take another look. I don't see anything that you really did wrong here. Like a few small things here and there, but nothing. Like, I feel like this should be a 95 plus, easy. Yeah, I know what you meant, undereducated voter, and I might agree with that. Like, Mistress, like your average hit with Vampiric Touch was 4k, mine was 4.3k. Hold on, let's go to Infernals. I mean, I guess this is a thing, is that my 3 ticks got 18 hits on the Infernals, your 3 got 12. But honestly, when you add in the Mind Seer, your DPS to the Infernals is about the same as mine. It's pretty much equal. Might be a little bit lower than mine, but yeah, sorry, John. Come back next week. This is gonna bother me. I'm actually gonna put your log to the side and try to take a look at this later, because I'm not quite sure myself. I think it's got to be like a debuff uptime or something. Okay, cool. Well, John, you're done. I'm sorry. I wanted to do better. I'm not sure that, again, that there's anything explicitly that you're doing that's causing you to not be 95. All right, cool. Yeah. I will see you next week then. All right, cool. Who's next? Let me see. Jacob, it is your turn. Are you still here? Okay, cool, Jacob. Yeah, that's a good point, Sean, is that while he's mind searing, I am mind flaying. Well, I guess the other thing is that that's not all of his mind sear damage there, because it was also hitting the boss. Hold on, let me pull his log back over. Oh, you just did your first raid, Jacob? Oh, that's awesome. Congrats. All right, just let me know what your character's name and realm is. Hold on, I just minimized his log. So like his mind sear wasn't just hitting these guys; it was also like it was also hitting the volcano. I guess not. Didn't do that ton damage. It was 1 tick. Does the Weakaura work for Warlock Strain Soul? I don't know. I know our Warlock has something else he uses for ticks. If you download the Weakaura Gnosis, so GNOSIS, you can set tick noises for Drain Soul using that add-on. You don't even need to use the cast bar portion of it. You can turn that off. But you can set tick sounds. I'm not sure for Drain Soul just because I don't... My Warlock that I play is Demonology, so I'm not really concerned about Drain Soul ticks. So I've never set that up. All right, Jacob, we can take a look at you, though. Jacob P. Carolina. Oh, that's not. Oh, you did your first raid? Are you sure you did your first raid? It looks like you've done 5 raids. Anyway, Jacob, is there any fight in particular you want looked at? Oh, I see. You did your first raid as it being your main. I gotcha. It was your alt before. Okay, cool. Any fight in particular that you want looked at? If not, I can just pick one. Seems like you're doing pretty good at Beast, which is good, I would say. I think Beast is probably the most involved as like being good at Shadow Priest. Twins is scuffed since you soak. That's not bad for twins if you're soaking. Beast, Jaraxxus, and an Anub. How about this? We've already looked at Beast and Jaraxxus today, so we'll do Anub. But also, if anybody else wants a log review after this, you can throw your name into chat. And if not, then Jacob, we might just get to spend some extra time with you. And so I love my mommy. That's a interesting guild name. All right, cool. We'll start with Anub. And then if nobody else wants one, we can take a look at the other fights. Oh, okay, cool. So you're already playing really well. I know, like, people say eye level parses are a meme. They do serve some purpose. Like, they are not what I would use as your most common metric to look at, but it does show that you're doing well versus other people at your item level. So that's good. Okay, cool. I just want to look at your gear real quick. So 314 haste, your Zabras, so your horde. Oh, interesting. Why are you using potent gems here? I would check your sim. You probably want to be using Reckless. Reckless is pretty much always better. So I don't know if gold is an issue for you, but I would probably check your sim because you probably want to use Reckless. And the fact that you have like 4 of these for the potents means it's probably like... Really? Your sim says a mix of 2 sims best. Can you send me a sim link? Can you message me on Discord with your sim link? I kind of want to take a look at it. I kind of think that's wrong. Here, message me on Discord. So it's pants.face. And just send me your sim link. Because you already have a decent amount of crit gear. Which would make me think haste is better. And it might be something to do with your sim settings. But I mean, your gear looks good. Again, similar to Johnny, it's like you're over the hit gap, but like not by a lot, and your gear is really good, so it's not a big deal. Okay, so now the big thing with this fight is always the ads. Let's see, unfiltered damage. Okay. So it really depends on like what your raid is doing with the ads. But you can see right here, like this whole Mind Seer right here is just getting cut out of the filter damage. So, you know, that's 145k damage that you did here that just didn't count for your parse. If you guys, like, if they need you to AoE the ads, you totally should. This is kind of like a weird thing where you kind of need to decide to put your raid first or put your parse first. You totally can't, like, at least in my guild, if I don't AoE, the ads still die. Our raid was a little bit scuffed earlier today, but that was just because our tank messed up. Oh, you whiffed. Okay, so yeah, do you have an add-on to track ad damage? So what I would say is, hold on, you don't. I can give you one. Oh, you do? Okay, cool. So then I will not send you mine. All right, cool. You messaged me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open my logs here. I'm going to export, or let's do this. So this is your sim. So now it's kind of funky how to do this because like importing your sim saves your settings. So what I want to do is get my settings, which means I need to export a link. Copy this. Close these. Repaste my link. So now I have my settings and I have your gear in here. Okay, so let's save this. Let's check. I want to check your gems. I'm just going to swap them all to Reckless. All the ones that aren't Reckless, I'm going to swap. Oh, did I just hit something? Okay. Is that all of them? Cool. Interesting. Okay, I mean, it's 8 DPS. I'm surprised it's so close. Oh, I guess I'm also... I mean... This shouldn't... Are you a troll? Yeah, you're berserking. I mean, this still shouldn't change it that much. I mean, hey, it might be fine for you. Okay. Let's go back here. Okay. I mean, yeah, I'm getting 30 DPS difference once I swap to troll. So you might want to look at your settings. Mine, I mean, okay, this is 640 spell power, so that's kind of high. I'm not sure how much that changes it. We can do another resim. I was doing a lot of ICC simming, which is why that was so high. And then, here, let's do this one more time, and then we can get back to your actual log. There's one more, I think. Here. Seer 3. Okay. Yeah, so I think it would be a DPS upgrade for you. So if gear is not a problem, I would switch those. I can also send you my settings if you want. So I'll send this back to you. If you click on this link, it will change your settings. So don't click on it if you don't want your settings. It's kind of annoying how it works. But yeah, I would just take a look. Make sure you have all your buffs enabled. Your spell power is reasonable here. You're going to want to turn off, what's it called? Heroic Presence, because this is the Drain Eye hit buff. So obviously you don't have that. But you're over the hit gap anyway, so it's not really going to affect you. Oh, does he not have the... Oh, sorry. Does he not have the tailoring wrists? Oh, he does. Bejeweled Wizard's Bracers. Yeah, I think your gear looks really good. All right, cool. We can get into your log here. So obviously, like I said, your Mind Seer here was just wasted. So the interesting thing about Mind Seer, and I don't know if you were watching when I was doing the fight. I guess obviously, like, our raid was kind of scuffed, so I didn't play that the way I normally would. But I want to pick out my best log and show you something, because the thing is, you're going to approach that 600k cap really quickly. If you're doing a VT into a, and then it Mind Searing after. So like what I want to show is purely just the Mind Seer DPS. So you can see I'm hitting up to 12.5k here. This one is just under 10k, and then this is about 7.5k. Your Mind Seers, you peak at 7.5k here, and then you actually almost hit 10k here, but this one obviously didn't count. So the thing is, you get a decent amount of single target on this set once, you know, a noob gets pulled away and then he submerges. So something to think about is, what's like the optimal way for you to deal damage to the ads? Sorry, I need to cough 1 second. Or just clear my throat. Because your Mind Seer, like this Mind Seer had great value because it like peaked at like 9k. It just didn't count because you're already over the cap. So, and it seems like here you probably reapplied your Vampiric Touch to the ads. We're gonna actually just put this in here. So I think the thing to think about is, wait, noob. What's like the optimal way for you to deal damage? Like, what's the most efficient way for you to deal damage? Yeah, you can totally VT and Seer phase 3. I think basically the point that I'm getting at here is that VT is a good cast, assuming they're not already stacked. Once the ads are stacked, you either want to Mind Seer to AoE or you want to single target a noob. Because once they've already stacked, you kind of lose the... I think at that point... Actually, I'm not sure. This would... Someone smarter than me would have to do math on this. But like, when they're stacked, I don't know if it's more value to cast VT on them or to Mind Seer, assuming you can hit all 3 ads plus a noob. Oh, I guess actually... Oh, this is actually a really good point. So all of your Mind Seer is only hitting the burrowers. Something you should try to do is hit a noob, because if you think about your Mind Seer, it's going to hit 4 targets at best. Hold on 1 second, sorry. So if you think about Mind Seer, and this really depends on the positioning of the ads in your raid. So if your tanks aren't good at positioning the ads close to the boss, then this doesn't work as well. But you can see that like a third of my Mind Seer damage is actually hitting a noob. Because what I'm trying to do is hit 3 ads plus a noob. So I'm targeting, like here, let me go into the game real quick. So like, if we pretend that the fountain is a noob and we have 2 ads here and 2 ads here, I'm basically picking the ad that's closest to the center of a noob, so that when I seer, I hit the 1 ad here, I hit the boss, and then I hit the 2 ads here. Now, if you watched earlier today, our positioning was not, I was not able to do that, so I did a lot of VTing because my Mind Seer wasn't going to get a lot of value. But the thing to think about is that if you can Mind Seer and hit a noob, you're still hitting 4 targets, so you're getting the same amount of, well, it's not even griefing boss damage. I mean, it is, but honestly, it's more selfish than that. You're still mind searing and you're still hitting 4 targets, but instead of those 4 targets being the adds, you're hitting 3 adds plus the boss. So your damage to hit the cap is going to be slower because your mind sear is more efficiently damaging only 3 adds, which means you'll essentially be able to mind sear longer because, you know, mind sear on 4 targets is going to be more DPS than mind flay on 1. So what it's allowing you to do is to essentially maintain higher DPS because you can mind sear longer because you're going to approach the cap slower. So just try to pick, you know, and again, it's going to depend on how well your tanks are positioning. Like if you have 2 adds here and 2 adds here, probably not going to be able to mind sear unless you mind sear off of the boss. But again, if they're close, if there's like 2 here and 2 here, you can totally just try to find the one that's the closest to the center and then mind sear off of that. So that's just something to think about. And that's where like a VOD helps because then I can kind of see the positioning of the ads. But that's kind of a judgment call. And as you get better, as you get more accustomed to the fight, not even get better, but it's just like, especially with this having not been your main, I think at least for me, when something's my main, I put a lot more focus into it than I do with my other classes. So if you just notice, and especially, you know, obviously you want to be using the mind sear glyph to get the extra 5 yards, because that's going to be pretty much required in order to mind sear off of an ad and hit the other ads plus a noob. It'll make sure your mind sear is just way more efficient. So that's everything about mind sear. I think just looking at your log in general, like your mind flay is really good. 162 MS, not that bad. Mine's usually around 100, but I was saying this to Johnny, or was it John? No, it was whoever was before Johnny. But it's better to have a lower delay with, you know, minimal clips than it is to have like a 100 MS delay if you have like 15 clips. So I think keep doing what you're doing. You know, maybe try to just like practice on the target dummy and get a little bit closer to when, you know, cue your next, or not cue, but like press your next mind flay or your next spell right after that 3rd tick. Practicing on a dummy helps. Your dot downtime is kind of high at 2.6 seconds. So you can see, so for VT, it's around 3.1 seconds. So you want to try to keep this to be 1 second, essentially. So this is counting. So it seems like when you dot up the burrowers, your dots fall off of a noob. Now this, did you clip? Or did he burrow? He burrowed, I think. So the interesting thing here, and this is super minimal, but just something to think about, is that like a noob burrows 80 seconds into the fight, which is at 120. So the interesting thing here is that if you had switched up the order in which you dotted these, if you basically did a noob like in between 2 of the burrowers, you would have gotten this 7th tick on the boss, and you still would have gotten all 7 ticks of your dots onto these burrowers, because the fact that you redotted them means obviously they didn't die, or they wouldn't have died. So just something to think about. Prioritizing refreshing dots. Oh, hey, sorry, how's it going? You didn't realize dots fell off when he burrowed? Yeah, so dots fall off when he burrows, and you can't reapply them. There's nothing you can do there. But my point is, if you can prioritize maintaining your dots on a noob, so just like as soon as your dots fall off, even if you're in the middle of dotting up these guys, swap back to a noob. So basically, like what I'm saying, what I would have done here is like do the first 2 burrowers, fit in a noob in the middle here, and then go back and do the other 2 burrowers, and then go back to targeting a noob. So it'll delay putting your VT onto these guys, but you make sure that you're prioritizing your dots on the boss. Now again, it's literally 1 tick of vampiric touch, so it's like super minimal for your damage, but it's just a good habit to get into, to always prioritize your dots on like your main kill target. Especially for ads that like these need to die, but you know, getting a VT onto them 1 second later is not a huge deal. You would prefer to get that damage onto a noob. And then the downtime here, that's probably just because you were attacking a noob while he's getting dragged away. So that's like not a big deal. Oh wait, where was that one? Yeah, so you were attacking the boss. That's fine. That's not a big deal. the fact, like, would it have been better to get these up early? Yes, but you also want to be prioritizing damage to the boss, so like, not a big deal. This is a weird fight because to greed your parse griefs the raid in some areas, so it's just like there's a fine balance to it. But I think the fact, even though you were late to VT these, I mean, I did the same thing today, so I think that's fine. All right, cool. And then really the last thing would be like looking at phase 3. Oh, we have burrowers. Let's get off of them. Mine's here. Let's look at your Shadow Fiend. Okay, so you did it on pull, and then you did it just before Lust. Perfect. Good job. When did you potion? Oh, interesting. So I would not have potioned here. I would save that for Lust. Pretty much you always, almost every fight you want to potion with Lust. The only time you don't would be Beasts, because you'd rather use the potion for Ice House First Crash when he takes 100% increased damage, because that's a stronger damage buff than Lust is. And then Berserking, perfect. You used it, you know, with the ads, and then used it during Lust, so that's awesome. But yeah, I'd say your potion, probably whenever you use Berserking, like, it's not whenever, because obviously this has a 3-minute cooldown. But if you think about the highest value time that you're using Berserking, you probably want to pair your potion with that. Oh, you had it macroed into your gloves? Okay, cool. That makes sense then. And then using your gloves perfectly, you know, your every minute. Cool. Oh yeah, and then I wanted to look at single target damage. So a noob actually looks pretty good. Even when you were like, go back, like when you were like mind searing and stuff, your damage didn't really fall off on the boss, because you were maintaining your dots. So like that all looks really good. Yeah, I think for you it's, and like as I said, like your log already looked really good. You had a 96 for your item level. Oh yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah, so Tia, if that's your name, it's a really good point. So you want to pre-pot haste. So you should sim it. But the thing is, most of the time when people sim, it's like 2 minutes, 3 minutes of a fight. Even though this fight says 4 minutes, you know, this first phase is really 80 seconds because he burrows 80 seconds into the fight. So you're not getting, you know, you're not simming for 4 minutes for your value from Wild Magic, because your dots fall off after 80 seconds. So you really want to look at the value of 80 seconds and which one's better. And with your gear, I'm assuming Potion of Speed is, because the better your gear gets and the shorter the fight is, the more that speed is better than Wild Magic. How do you unfilter the damage on ads? So view unfiltered damage. So like, it's just this button right here. If I go to the burrowers, so view unfiltered, I guess I was viewing it already. So this is the filtered damage, and then click view unfiltered damage, and you can see this like Mind Seer pops up, and like some of the Vampiric Touch. Right. But yeah, again, like your logs, Jacob, are very good. So these are like pretty small things with like your dot priority. But I mean, again, and I think like, especially as like a lower item level, like you're like, if this was green, you would, there's a big difference when this is like orange versus, you know, purple or green. So, or even blue. So yeah, you're doing well, you know, keep doing what you're doing. And I think the more you play, the more you kind of think about it as a main, and you start thinking about those like more niche circumstances, the better you'll be. And you'll be, I mean, once you get to a little bit more gear, you'll be 95 pluses for sure. All right, did anybody else want a log review? If not, Jacob, I will do another one of your bosses. We can do whatever boss you want if nobody else wants a log review. And we'll just call it a night after that. So I'll give, you know, like 30 seconds for anybody else to speak up. And if not, then Jacob, you can pick another fight. Oh, Lord. Esteban, this could be your turn. Okay. All right, Esteban, you're up. You're getting griefed on a noob. Throwing bubs. All right, well, thanks, Jacob. I really like your locks. They're just going to get better and better, so keep doing what you're doing. Wait, did I spell that wrong? I definitely did. Am I missing something in your name, Esteban? Pretty sure I spelled this the same. I'm just gonna copy and paste what you said. I don't even know what I did wrong. Maybe I'm just blind. I think the longer I do log reviews, the more tired I get, and then I'm just like blind. Said sulfurous. Alrighty. Any fight in particular? You can pick. Alright, sorry, I'll check you out. Real quick. Oh, is this your unfiltered damage? Yeah. How much did you do? 1 million? Yeah. You went 400k over the cap. Jaraxxus? Cool. Multitasking at the moment, otherwise I'd be so down. Or I can get you next week. You're here often enough, don't worry. Oh, sorry. One thing just for you is, are you using the Weakaura to see Anub's, like the Anub ad tracker? If you're not, I would highly recommend this. And then this add-on in particular goes to 90k. Actually, I don't know if it's been updated. It might have been updated. Or I'm sorry, 900k. Let me check. Yeah, so this bar basically counts to 900k. But that was the old cap for the fight. So on the ads, now it caps at 600k. So it's just something to note that you want to stop 2/3 of the way, not at the very end. All right, sorry, Bubs. Let's get back to you. All right, so you said Jaraxxus? Sorry, and then this is gonna be the last one I do. But if you come by next week, I can totally fit you in. I can see just some potatoes aren't DPSing ads. Yeah, that's unfortunate. What's that bar called? Here, I can, it's Fojji's. Oh, you got a snowballed on Beast? Yeah, that sucks. All right, let's do Jaraxxus. The most recent one. Well, this one was your best. So even though it's not your most recent, pretty large difference in 500 DPS. This is where I'd like to start. First thing I want to do is start with gear. All right. Oh, epic gems, buddy. Epic gems. I'm always going to give you shit for epic gems, so that's just something to think about. Okay. You have a lot of hit. So you're horde, right? I want to say, yeah, Zabra's your horde. Okay. This is... Okay. I don't want this to sound mean, but there's a difference between too much hit and what you have. Too much hit is being at like 300, 310, 320. You're at 480. You have 2 hit trinkets on. Do you have any other trinkets? Okay. Do you have updated gear? Because this was from January, or I'm sorry, January. This was from July 21st. Do you have an updated, like, do you have your gear in the sim or anything that you could send me? Because this was from, 2.5 weeks ago. If not, that's cool. Obviously you have some work to do. I think, so you just got the badge trinket. The badge trinket is also hit. The thing that I would say is, hey Yuli, how's it going? Logs on fairly in a 10-man. What's your oh, did you switch? You took the free transfer. Is it still throwing bubs? Why is it showing healing? When is it from? Oh, August 6th? Okay, cool. Okay, oh, 327. Okay, much better. Good job. Okay, this trinket's really bad. So what I would say here, what you want to do, you're still pretty high on hit. This is a lot better than what it was before. Sure, it sims higher than Living Flame. The intellect's going to give you some crit. The only thing I would say is try to get, so the really good trinkets that you can get pretty quickly are Abyssal Rune, which you can get from TOC 5-man, just on normal mode. Just run it, you know, as many times as you can. I'm not laughing at you. So I think Abyssal Rune is awesome. You can also get Embrace of the Spider, which comes from, what's it called? Gundrak, Heroic Beta, whatever it's called. So Embrace of the Spider drops off the first boss there. Or you could get Eye of the Broodmother that drops off of the, like, the secret boss, Ek. The guy who's, like, under the, like, the back area after you fight the mammoth guy that you interrupt. Or whatever he transforms into. So I think trying to sort out your trinkets would be huge. What's your Skyweaver? You have Skyweaver. That's interesting. So this chest is obviously very good. It just means that you have kind of weird pieces when it comes to your tier. So the thing is that the tier 9 pants are extremely good. They have hit, haste, and spell power. But with your gear, it makes it kind of awkward to use. I think you just have a very suboptimal pieces for your tier sets. So that's kind of unfortunate. Like, so the best setup is essentially for a two-piece, it's using tier 8 helm, tier 8 shoulders. I'm sorry. Yes, tier 8 helm, tier 8 shoulders, tier 9 chest, tier 9 pants, and then having either Pharaohs or gloves of the lifeless touch, or even like the 10-man heroic gloves that give you hit, haste, and spell power. So like, I would spend some time simming different combinations, just depending on what tier pieces you have or can get. Like, you basically picked 2 out of the 3 worst pieces for tier 9 to use. Like, the helm sucks, but the pants and the chest are the best. So even though you have Skyweaver, which is an awesome off piece, it doesn't really fit for Shadow Priest gear. All right, you have a ton of badges. I would get 2 more tokens. Buy tier 9 pants and chest. You can't really use them yet. Maybe wait till you get some good gloves. You have Skyweaver also. I mean, they're great robes. It's just mages and warlocks can take advantage of them. It's really hard for Shadow too. See, Rakan, at least you're using the legs. Oh, sorry. What did you say? Quick question, Pants. If I get 2 tier 258, switching to 4 set. No. So you only want to switch to 4 set tier 9 if you have at least 3 pieces of 258. So that's what I have on my priest right now, is I have 3 258s and 1 245. That's the only point where it becomes basically just as good as using 2-piece. Yeah, the 10-man alg gloves could be good enough. You'd have to sim it. There's a 245 pair that's just better. It's the same stats from 10-man heroic TOGC. And outside of that, you'd want to get either Pharaohs or Lifeless Touch. But yeah, I think those gloves should be good. Obviously, sim it. Maybe sim before you start buying a bunch of gear with badges. I would try to get 2 of the 245 tier tokens, though, because you will eventually want the chest and pants for tier 9, because those are the 2 best pieces by far. And yeah, this trinket sucks. So that's the only thing I didn't mean to laugh at you. I'm more laughing at the trinket. Yeah, totally, Savior. Come back next week. I'm streaming Mondays, Thursdays, and I'm sorry, Mondays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, all around the same time. But I try to always fit in like 4 log reviews. Try to give like half an hour to each person if I can. Algalon gloves are a myth. Oh, 270 DPS for you. Yeah, they're huge. They're really good. It took me a while to get them on my priest too. We actually just gave them to a holy paladin a few weeks ago because it's their bis for the phase. My guild is cursed with old war drops. You've only gotten 2 flares, and you don't really do 25 man. That sucks. Yeah. I feel like every guild should at least do one 25 man old war run because there's still a ton of bis out there for different classes. If you don't do it, then what I would say is try to get the gloves out of 10 man TOGC, 10 man heroic, or try to get the gloves off of heroic and noob, because the gloves off of heroic and noob are going to become your next best off piece. Or the other item you could get that would be really good would be the helm from Onyxia, the haste crit spell power helm. So believe it or not, after lifeless touch, that is the next best off piece. So essentially what you do is instead of getting tier 9, or I'm sorry, instead of using tier 8 helm, I think you use tier 8 gloves. I'd have to take a look at the set. But hold on, I gotta sneeze, sorry. I think I do. Okay, it went away. Never mind. Song name? Can I send screenshots? I don't know if I can. I can't. It's called... Oh, my face is blocking. Hold on one second. It's called Magic by Thimlife and Tomsis. But yeah, anyway, I think there's a lot of work we could do with your gear. We can get to your actual like log review. But I think that there's you should play around with this. I think, you know, try to sim different sets and see what you can come up with. There's a lot of work you can do, and the nice thing about it that I always enjoy about gear is that like you don't even need to play better. You'll just do better, right? Because your gear's better, you're doing more damage. So even if you play the exact same, your parse automatically gets better. Yeah, the crit haste Oni helm. Exactly. That would be... So if you can't get Pharaohs, if you can't get Lifeless Touch, that would then be the next best off piece, so that your other 4 slots would be tier. So it kind of sucks you have Skyweavers. Like, they're very good robes. I mean, it doesn't suck. They are very good. It's just not that good for Shadow. It's a hard piece to fit around because our tier in the other slots just kind of sucks. Like, actually, if we look at Kiwi's sheet, I don't have that link anymore. Oh, I do. Oh, you got them for min bid? That's pretty awesome. So if we look at here, you're Horde, right? Yeah, you're Horde. If we look at chest, so Skyweaver's vestments, sorry, it's kind of small. You can see the best simming they do is at 11,454. The Aura of Transcendence, this sim's basically 100 DPS higher at 11,565. So it's like 120 DPS if you can use this as your off piece, which comes from Onyxia. So that's 11,565. And then if we go down to the gloves, Lifeless Touch is pretty much the exact same as the Onyxia helm. So really, whichever one of those you can get would be awesome. And then Pharaoh's gloves are the best. But if you're not doing Old War, obviously you can't get them. So what you should try to do is try to get the Lifeless Touch gloves or the Onyxia helm. That'll be really good for your off piece. Because, you know, as I mentioned, Skyweavers is about 100 DPS worse. Oh, you haven't killed Heroic Anub yet? Got it. Yeah, that does make it tough. But it's so easy to pug Onyxia. And the thing is, it's a priest helm. So, like, there shouldn't be a ton of competition. Like, what I would do, honestly, if I were you, is try to join an Onyxia pug. And if there's any other priests in there, just leave. Like, just leave. Try to find a pug where you're the only priest in a 25-man. I mean, you might have like a disc priest as a healer because they're pretty much everywhere, but like at most there should just be you and another priest. That's what I would do if I were you. Okay, anyway. That was a lot. That was a big diversion on gear. Let's get into your actual log. So you want to look at Jaraxxus. Now the thing is, your kill time is really slow, 4 minutes. Like my kill time, for example, was 2 minutes today. So you're already at a pretty big disadvantage just because the fight is so much longer. So I want to pull up the analyzer tool. Jaraxxus. So I mean, okay, you know what's interesting? Your Mind Flay delay is really good. So now this is the unfortunate thing about a long fight. Like what I'm gonna do is, like, so you did 7.8k damage. If this fight was 2 minutes and then we just stopped right here, your DPS would have been 8.5k, 8.5. I can zoom in if this is too small. I don't know how small it is. So basically, if this fight could have been, I'm gonna zoom out one. If this fight was just 2 minutes long, your DPS automatically goes up by 700. So that's one thing to consider. Yeah, if you click and drag, you can like look at this, the fight. So like, so we just saw that you did 8.5k over the first half of the fight. If we look at the second half of the fight, you did 7.3k. Now that's not because you're bad or anything. That's literally just how Shadow Priest is. You're going to do more damage at the beginning of a fight than you are at the end of it. Just because like obviously you have Lust in here, you have all your cooldowns like on the pull, and then it just slowly goes down over time. Even though like you got some really good Mind Seer value here, and you had your Shadow Fiend up again. It doesn't matter. It's just always better to have a shorter fight. So that's one thing that like comparing your locks to other people is really hard just because your kill time is so long. And I will say, just like looking at this, like your Mind Flay delay is really good. You're doing a really good job with Mind Flay. I want to, okay, so Vampiric Touch is already set. Your dot downtime is 2 seconds. So your dot downtime is actually pretty good for Devouring Plague. This is a small thing, but for VT, just make sure that you're like, so perfect example is that like you went 5 seconds here when you didn't refresh your dot or your Vampiric Touch onto Jaraxxus. So if we go, that was like 30 seconds ish. That one, where was that? Vampiric Touch Jaraxxus. So it seems like during this time you were dotting up the ads. And like you even did some single target into the ads. I wouldn't do that. Okay, cool. You just got the Weakaura for VT. It really helps. But the thing here, and this is kind of like what I was, sorry, 1 second. Checking Discord. Somebody sent me something. But this is kind of what I was talking to Jacob about in the last review, where while dotting up these ads, it seems like you might be losing track of your dots on Jaraxxus, so that's why you went 5 seconds without having Vampiric Touch applied. Right, so you don't want to be doing Mind Blast into the ads. Like, put your dots on her. That's perfect, Vampiric Touch, Shadow Word Pain. But what I would have done here is try to make sure that, like, okay, here. So your final, oh wait, sorry, wrong one. This Vampiric Touch on Lord Jaraxxus falls off at 30 seconds into the fight. At 30 seconds, so like just before so you just started a cast on a Mind Flay onto the Nether portal, and before that you did a Mind Flay onto Jaraxxus. So what I would have done here is made sure that instead of swapping to the Nether portal, you want to refresh that Vampiric Touch onto Jaraxxus instead of doing this Mind Flay onto the Nether portal. Obviously, killing the portal is important, but you want to make sure you're always maintaining your dots on just on all of your targets, with especially Jaraxxus being the most important one. So having a 5 second downtime here is pretty bad. And then especially the fact that you then casted Mind Blast into the Mistress. Like, the Mistress will die over time. So I don't know if your guild needs you to do any single target into her. It seems like that's the only spell you cast outside of the 2 dots. So what I would have done here is, so Vampiric Touch the Nether Portal, or I'm sorry, Vampiric Touch onto Jaraxxus, put up dots onto the Mistress, and then you can single target the Nether Portal after if you have to. But the most important thing is your dots for doing damage. So especially when there's multiple targets, it's just maintaining your dots onto all of them, with the most important dot being Vampiric Touch. Cool. Yeah, so I think this is just a little like, you know, dot priority and like keeping track of all your dots, which can be difficult for sure. So just something to try to get used to. Try to make sure you're just keeping track of your dots on multiple targets. Do you use like Plater or any nameplate add-on just so that you can see like the dots ticking above the character? I think that helps a lot if you have some good raid frames. Okay, cool. You just got Plater. I have a UI video that has my Plater profile in it. So if you want to take a look at that, I'd recommend it. Or, you know, if you go onto Wago, you can find other people's Plater profiles. So you might find something that works better for you. Oh, that's what you copied? Awesome. Yeah, so I'd say just get used to tracking your dots on each of your targets. You might need to move your camera angle to see them, just depending on how big the enemy is. So that's just something to keep in mind. Okay, cool. So ads, fine. I think like basically, what I want to say here is I think like just looking at like your Mind Flay delay, your dots and stuff, it seems like your single target's really good on Jaraxxus. It's just when the ads come into play. That's the problem. It's just like maintaining your dots on the ads, maintaining your dots on Jaraxxus, making sure that any single target goes into Jaraxxus. Unless you're like you have like a primary kill target, like if everybody just needs to kill the portal so that you don't get extra mistresses type of thing. I mean, yeah, having a faster kill time would be really good for you. I think. I mean, you guys had a lot of deaths, especially towards the end. People probably didn't dispel his debuff or his buff on himself. Yeah, I think you're probably the primary example of a log that is hurt so much more by the raid than your own play. Like, I think you're actually a pretty good Shadow Priest. No offense to your raid. I think at least this pull was not the best with how many people died. You know, half the raid essentially gray parsing. Yeah, no worries. That's the bomb. So that's the thing that sucks as Shadow, because like, you know, for example, like Warlocks and Mages, they have execute damage. So it's like when an enemy gets under 35% health or 25% for affliction, they deal increased damage. So a longer fight doesn't hurt them as much as someone like Shadow, where we don't have any extra damage. Basically, we're kind of like a burst class, even though we don't burst that high, where most of our damage is at the top or at the beginning of the fight, and then we just slowly go down the longer the fight goes on. Like you'll have little points like here, you like where you get some like AoE damage, or you get like your Shadow Fiend out where you'll go back up for a little bit, but pretty much the longer the fight goes on, the lower your DPS is going to be as Shadow. Okay, cool. So let's take a look at the other ads, the Infernals. So the interesting thing here, so you do VT and Shadow Word Pain on the Infernals, and actually, I would say you probably don't want to Shadow Word Pain them. I think you'd probably just want to... Oh, sorry, got yawned. You just want a Vampiric Touch. And the reason is, so if you see that these each did 6k damage, your 2 Shadow Word Pains, basically for a global to be worth it, so like a global cooldown to be worth it on a spell, you want it to do at least 8k damage, because on average, now it depends on your gear. With your gear, it might be closer to like 7k. You're kind of like at the very bottom of the threshold, where if you did Mind Seer onto your primary target for 1.5 ticks, which obviously you can't really count half a tick, but just mathematically, if we do, your average tick on Mind Flay is going to be around 4 to 5k, which means you want to get, so if you did a tick and a half of damage, it'll be like 6 to 7k damage. So you want to get at minimum 6 to 7k damage out of a global, which you do get 6k out of these Shadow Word Pains. It's just, I think the way I view the Infernals is that I just try to Vampiric Touch them all and then go back to single targeting Jaraxxus. And especially as your gear or as your raid gets better gear and they get better at the fight, those adds will die faster because people will be cleaving them more. They'll just be doing more damage to them. So while your Shadow Word Pain actually was like fine here in terms of getting 6k damage, that's probably just going to go down as the weeks go on. So I would say just try to focus on only Vampiric touching them. And then your Mind Seer here actually seemed decent. You got a few ticks off and you did, 14, 15k damage in like 2 seconds. That's actually pretty good. That was a good Mind Seer. And then actually, come down here, the next set of Infernals that you had, you did put a single Vampiric Touch onto them and then you Mind Seared. I think that's perfect. Like, I think you actually played this really well. And I'm sure that's like your damage bump right here. So like, yeah, here with that Mind Seer, like this actually like increase your damage a little bit here at the end of the fight because you played this really well with your Vampiric Touch into Mind Seer. So I guess similar for this first volcano is that you put Vampiric Touch and Shadow Word Pain. They both only got 2 ticks of damage off onto the volcano. So they each did like 5k damage. So if something's going to die really fast, obviously the volcano you want to die fast, but it probably spawned before 128. So if we look at resources, HP of enemies and go to the volcano. Or I might have just... actually died. Okay, well, so this thing spawned at 123 and then died at 135. So you got your dots onto it about 128. So about 5 seconds after. So if you could have just swapped a little bit sooner, you would have gotten more value out of your dots. So, oh, thanks, Esteban. I appreciate that, man. So this is one of those situations where as more enemies enter the fight, the most important thing to do is get your dots on them. Like, forget whatever it was you're doing. As soon as there's a new enemy on a fight, you want to make sure you get Vampiric Touch on it. And if it's going to live long enough, you want to get Shadow Word Pain on it too. But you want to cycle around all of the ads, put Vampiric Touch on them. That is your #1 priority as soon as a new ad enters, like the arena. And then once you put Vampiric Touch onto everything, you can then start putting Shadow Word Pain. That's the ultimate way to maximize your damage on beasts, on Jaraxxus. Is just making sure that like anytime there's a new ad, whether it's a snowball, whether it's an infernal, whatever it is, you're putting up your VT immediately, and then you're doing Shadow Word Pain after every enemy has Vampiric Touch on it. Does that make sense? Because Vampiric Touch, not only does it hit harder than Shadow Word Pain, it ticks faster because it benefits from haste and Shadow Word Pain doesn't. Awesome. So that's really important. So obviously this was about 5 seconds into the infernal living. Into the volcano living. So if you did it a little bit sooner, you would have just gotten like probably 3 more ticks of your Vampiric Touch on him. I think overall your log's actually not bad. So like I know we get so concerned about the parse and the number and the color. I don't see this as you being a green parser. I see this as you being someone who could probably very easily be a purple parser. You're in a raid with, I don't know if all of your raids are like this. So hopefully, your kills have gotten faster. I don't know if they have. You said you moved to Fairlena, right? Why does it default to HPS? Okay, so like you can already see. Oh, you had, is this normal? Oh, 10 player heroic, I see. Okay, you had a few people on vacation. Like, okay, and you can even see like, obviously 10 man's very different, and you can't really compare 10 man parsing to 25 man parsing just because of like available buffs, and like you guys don't even have a demonology warlock, so you're missing demonic pact, even though you have like Flame Tongue Totem, you're still missing like 200-300 spell power. So like you like can't really compare those things. But the thing that I'll say is you're definitely capable of blue and purple parses, absolutely, in 25 man. Your raid's holding you back a little bit. So I'm not saying you should leave them. I'm just saying you should take that into account, that that's really going to hurt you, having longer kill times. But I mean, hey, if you like the people, this is where I think like having a good guild is really important. And a good guild doesn't mean the best guild in the world. I think it's really important to evaluate what you're looking for. Like, do you want people who are super competitive? Do you want people who can just like be your friends? Do you want people who are nice and you don't really care if they're good at the game or not? You just enjoy spending an hour or two with them during a raid or whatever it might be. I think, you know, if you are satisfied with your guild, like totally, you know, continue playing there. Yeah, your parses won't be as good as they otherwise could be, but you can still play well and like you can still do the best that you can do. But especially, you know, maybe this might change when we get into Kata. I'm not quite sure how, you know, who knows? We're still kind of a ways away from that. I don't know what Shadow Priest DPS curve will look like, but at least for Wrath of the Lich King, the longer the fight goes on, the worse your damage is going to be. Definitely not going to leave. Cool. And I'm not saying you should. I'm not saying you should. I think some people might think, oh, my guild's holding me back, I should leave. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying, as long as you're happy there, then just know that your parsing is going to suffer. But if that's not the most important thing to you, then don't let it bother you, is my point. Because I think you're definitely capable of, as I mentioned, blue and purple. It's just, you know, yeah, I think you definitely have things you can improve on. You know, it seems like when things get a little bit chaotic with multiple ads entering the fight, you could do a better job of keeping track of the dots, not just on the ads, but on the main target as well. Because again, dot uptime is the most important thing. And then, yeah, hopefully you can have a faster than 4-minute Jaraxxus kill. That would help too. Like overall, your logs aren't bad. Like I would not look at this and I mean, technically, yes, this is a green parse. I would not call it a green parse. There's a lot more to it than just the color and the number on the screen here. But yeah, I think keep playing. Cool. And that's actually what I was going to say. Like you said, you had some people on vacation. I'd be really excited to see you guys when you have your full raid team, you know, maybe even a little bit more gear. And not a bunch of people dying here. It seems like probably once your mage died, what I'm assuming happened is that nobody was spell stealing the debuff, or like other people were slow to purge if they did it all. If we look at the spells, yeah, you can see they slowed down a bit. Spell steal. I guess he was actually still. I guess he was still going because I guess he got rezzed. But yeah, I'd be really interested to see your logs after you guys have the full crew together. But cool. Any questions about what I went over there? I think that's all I got for you. So I'm gonna call it here for night, assuming you don't have any questions. All right, you took a page of notes. Awesome. Very cool. Thanks for hanging out. I'll be streaming again Monday. So I didn't stream this past Monday. I just wasn't feeling well, but I'm going to try to stream every Monday as well as Wednesday, Thursday. So yeah, have a good night, everyone. Thanks for hanging out today. See you, Zari. Have a good night. See you, Mousite.